Next man up, 1025 The Game. Happy Wednesday, Nashville. Jake Lyman joined by Cory Curtis from News 2 for the entire show today. Along with Parker Kelly, we are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Cory, thanks for coming in. Thanks for battling traffic to get here. You never know.
It's awesome.
It's like a box of chocolates every time you get on Nashville roads, whether you're going to hit traffic or not. So appreciate you coming in. Should be a fun show. Titans have set their 53-man roster, at least for now.
Yeah.
They've set their initial 53-man
there's
roster.
already a change. They're bringing in Shy Tuttle.
Right, and you would make the assumption that Timmy Horn, who was the fifth defensive tackle initially, probably will be the one traded out there. But
well, I mean, maybe not. I mean, didn't they open up? They open up a spot by putting Tajay Spears on IR.
Right. So, but they still had 53, right?
Okay.
I think they did because I was wondering if Gabe Jeudy-Lally was going to get cut at the end, because he was kind of the one that you hadn't heard one way or the other at 3 o'clock yesterday.
Curtis Jacobs, Gabe Jeudy-Lally,
right?
Crenshaw. Those are all guys that you're looking at going, I hope they didn't go, buy a new Rolex to celebrate.
Yes. Yeah. I think by the end of this show, there probably will be different players on the Titans 53-man roster. Waiver claims will come out right around 11 a.m.
Yep.
So we will give you those updates as they come in, let you know who the Titans have picked up off waivers. I would probably guess 3, 4, 5, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I think 3 is kind of my number right now. Also, I want to point out to everyone, because I've been asked this a number of times. You see the list comes out and it says waived or released.
Right.
Players who play less than 4 years are waived and subject to the waiver wires. If you have played 4 years in the NFL and you get cut out of training camp, you are released and free to sign with anyone at any point, which is why Shy Tuttle signed last night. He's got 6 years in the NFL. And so he didn't have to go through the waiver wire.
Yes, that is an important distinction. So an example would be the Lions released Dan Skipper, who he would be a decent swing tackle for somebody, but he doesn't go through the waiver process. So it's not like
he gets his choice.
Just claim him and take him.
The other thing is when you claim a guy, you pick up his contract.
Right. Yes.
And so when Titans sign Shy Tuttle, they negotiate a whole new deal.
Yes, they negotiated a 1-year deal. Adam Schefter reporting that. So the Titans have added some depth in the defensive line room. We'll see what else comes. I would expect maybe some corners, edge rushers, maybe a running back.
I look at middle linebacker. I really think if they could find a decent depth piece there, I think middle linebacker, edge, corner, those are the main spots.
Right.
I know everybody's hot on running back. Maybe, but is there really any difference in those guys?
Right. Yeah. And when Tajay Spears is probably coming back after 4 weeks, do you want to use a roster spot on a guy who might be irrelevant by October? So we'll see what the Titans end up doing. They do have first waiver claim, and I do want to make everybody aware of how the waiver claim process works. It isn't like fantasy football where if you have the top waiver claim priority, you claim one guy and then go to the back of the line if you have multiple waiver claims.
You stay.
If the Titans claimed 16 guys off waivers, they would get all 16. They'd have to find room, but however many guys the Titans claim, the Titans will get. So we will see what Mike Borgonzi elects to do coming up at 11 a.m. We'll get into plenty of stuff with the Titans roster today. Also, college football week 1 is coming up. We have 5 straight days of college football starting tomorrow. So we'll talk about some of the big games coming up this weekend and much more. But Cory, we have to start with the biggest news of the century, maybe.
Okay.
Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the Cubs 2016 World Series championship.
Close. I know last time I talked about Taylor Swift on this show, I was told that I was a 12-year-old girl. So
my daughter's 12 and she doesn't like Taylor Swift.
Really? Yeah. I guess, it is more of probably a 20 mid-late.
I think she's also just being the auntie.
I get that. Yeah.
I'm going to fall on the other side to be different.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think this is a huge deal. I think, honestly, the big thing I took away from it is this is probably going to be Travis Kelce's last season in the NFL. I think he is soft launching his retirement of being Taylor Swift's husband and doing his podcast. I think that's what the last month has been all about. I think he's doing one more season, then he's done.
Well, and I think, and listen, I don't care. I don't at all. And that doesn't mean I don't like either one of them. It just means, hey, congratulations, they found love. All right, let's see if they make it. But the big thing for me is they don't have to go the whole season going, is he going to propose? Is he going to
Right.
propose?
That's
They
a
don't go to
very
the
good
Super Bowl
point.
saying, is he going to propose? And so you take that element off of the table. Yes, they're getting married. All right. So, there's no more mystery to the relationship. There's no more, I hope they make it. There's no more blah, blah. Look, they're together. They're getting married. Like you said, he's getting older. This is probably the end of the line. He's going to buy a pair of sandals and wear black socks and mow the lawn and enjoy life.
Yes. That is a great upside of all of this is there will be no speculation throughout the season. The thousands of times they show Taylor Swift on TV this year.
Yeah.
It won't be, when's Travis Kelce going to propose? It's already happened. You can guarantee Titans play the Chiefs here in Nashville 4 days before Christmas. Taylor Swift will be at that game, I think would be a pretty good guarantee.
The transformation of Travis Kelce has been quite amazing. And I don't mean as a football player. I mean as from edgy, trendy, hip, single guy to suburban dad. And because that's exactly what he looks like now.
I mean, the way he talked even 5 years ago was
he had a show about chasing girls,
right?
Okay,
Catching Kelce
or girls chasing him, I guess. All right, I mean that was a thing.
Yes, he has kind of taken on a new persona based on who Taylor Swift wants her boyfriend to be or her fiance now as they're engaged. I think I saw something like the flowers that you could see in the picture cost like $40,000 or something like that. I mean, no expense spared. The power couple is now engaged, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Congratulations. And Cory makes a good point. At least we don't have to hear the questions about it for the entire NFL season. Also, some big news that just came down before the show started.
Okay.
Maybe was a little bit expected. It's been talked about for about the last week, but Adam Thielen has been traded back to the Minnesota Vikings.
We talked about it last week.
Yes. So, I mean, I get it. It's probably where he wanted to be. He is a proud Minnesota State Mankato. Are they the Minotaurs, the Bulls, something like that? I've been up there.
Isn't that where Hayden Fox coached and coach?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Craig
T. Nelson.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a D2 school. It is about an hour west of Minneapolis, so he gets to go back home. And
you know how, like in soccer, you get players on loan?
Yeah.
I mean, Nashville SC had Johnny Perez on loan. They just completed that deal and bought him for $1.5 million permanently. But maybe the NFL should get into the loaning business.
Yeah.
Because this is a situation where, the Panthers, I think if they could have loaned Thielen for 4 to 6 weeks to the Vikings for, flipping a fifth for a seventh and then get him back, I think they would they probably would have done that.
Yeah. And it allows you maybe to let guys retire where they want to, like at the end of Derrick Henry's career.
Yeah, loan him back to the Titans.
Loan him back to the Titans for the last month of his final season so he can do his victory lap. And,
I think we're on to something.
Hey, Roger Goodell, if you're out there listening, this might be an idea to have. I mean, I don't know how much teams would take advantage of it, but this would be one of those situations where it's like, hey, yeah, Adam, you can go home and, get your flowers from the Vikings and the Vikings fans, but we want you back at some point.
Yeah. No loans in the postseason, though. Only regular season loans.
Agreed. That would, you might have some collusion issues at that point. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you have thoughts on the Titans, college football, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, you let us know. You can text or call. Our phone lines are driven by Wilson County Hyundai.
Please don't have anything about Travis Kelce.
We do have one text. Ben says he will probably pay somebody to mow the lawn. He says the yard will probably be big.
You know what I always say, though? I mean, I love mowing the lawn because it is my time of solitude.
Yeah.
Nobody bothers you.
Right.
And also, there's something about having a job and completing it. You know what I mean? Like you mow the lawn. It's like washing your car. You when you're over, you look at it and you just kind of give that little head nod to yourself and you feel good about it.
You feel accomplished at the end of it.
You feel like you're actually good at something.
I agree with that. There's something to be said about that with all chores. It's like you don't want to do it, but when you finish it, you're like, man, I'm being productive.
I always look forward to lawn mowing day.
I mean, lawn mowing, I guess, can be good. I remember when I mowed the lawn in high school, it was nice to go out there and
Yeah, but
just
you
like,
had to. You were a
right,
kid.
that's true. My dad made me do
Yeah,
it.
when you
So
when you're a dad wearing sandals and black socks, you're gonna look forward to it.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Plenty to get to on the Titans roster cutdown. The Titans are at 53. I don't think it will be the same 53 2 hours from now. Couple of surprises when it came to the Titans initial roster. We will get to those in this first hour. We will also talk about college football. Lots of big games coming up this weekend. 3 top 10 matchups on Labor Day weekend for college football. We'll talk about all of those. And we'll react to the Titans waiver claims coming up at 11 o'clock. Jake Lyman, joined by Cory Curtis from News 2 for the full show today here on Next Man Up 1025 The Game. Next man up, 1025. The game later today on ESPN 94.9 The Fan. The Nashville Sounds take on the Charlotte Knights at First Horizon Park with the first pitch at 6:35. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at theGameNashville.com. Sounds baseball on ESPN 94.9 The Fan is presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly with you on this Wednesday morning. The Titans have made their cuts down to the initial 53, but again, we are less than 2 hours away from the waiver claims becoming public. The Titans can claim as many players as they want. They have top priority. We'll see.
Well, they can't claim more than 53.
That is true. They can't claim more than 53. I would really hope it's not more than 5. But I think how many they claim is going to really show you how Mike Borgonzi feels about the depth on this roster. And the way they've set it up makes me think they have a flurry of waiver claims coming because they kept 11 offensive linemen.
Yeah, that's not going to stay.
I think it was smart, and I forget who put this out there. It might have been Easton Freeze put it out there that they protected these 3 tackles, Aliudo, John Ojukwu, Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, because tackle depth is so sparse on the NFL market.
Yep.
And by holding them for 24 more hours, you might be able to avoid having them get claimed by somebody else.
You also might get a trade.
That's a good point too.
You might get a 7th or one of those, like
right
5th for 7th swaps or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. The way I was thinking of it is, let's say a team feels like they need tackle depth. Do they want to wait for day 2 of the waiver claim cycle or just claim whoever they think the best guy is on the market right then? Maybe that allows you to slip, I would guess it's Ojukwu and Crenshaw-Dixon through waivers and get them to the practice squad.
I think it's interesting that they think Crenshaw-Dixon has that much value.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean,
because I didn't know much about him.
I didn't see that one coming at all. I watched him a few times in practice in the last couple of weeks where I went, I think because I'm always biased against him because he's got 2 last names and he wears 78. And so, every time I saw him, I got flashbacks.
Seeing PT.
I had PTSD. Okay. And so he had that to overcome. He really did. And I watched him a few times. He's a big guy, big, tall guy, and good length. And, like I said, I watched him. I'm like, he would be a good guy in the practice squad to really develop. And, look, Bill Callahan knows better than me. And so, they're one way or another, they want to work with him. But I've heard of teams keeping 10. I've never heard of them keeping 11. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it shows you that they do value him at least. And out of the undrafted free agents, he's the only one who made the roster from this year. And when they signed,
that's not really a good number.
Right. It's not great that none of those guys panned out because I think when you make those signings, Restrepo, I think, was more of a fan hope that he was going to make the roster.
Yeah, because, I mean, we looked at the numbers and said he's going to have to be the last guy to make it.
Yes. So that one was more of just, I think, a hope and a prayer. But at cornerback, I think everyone kind of hoped that one of those undrafted guys they brought in would have made the roster, and none of them did. So Crenshaw-Dixon is on the roster right now. I don't think he'll be on the roster in 2 hours, but the hope is they can sneak him through, get him to the practice squad. But you look at that, I would guess at least 2, probably exactly 2 offensive linemen are going to be shuffled out with the waiver claims. And then you look on the other side of the ball, Timmy Horn probably is the corresponding move for Shy Tuttle.
So you're saying they only want 5 defensive linemen. They don't want 6. And I think they kept 5 last year.
It's possible that they go to 6.
I mean, you're also starting with Tavondre Sweat coming off of the tonsillectomy. And so I think they could use an extra body. I would not be surprised. I would want to start with 6 with Sweat not being 100%. I mean, I'm sure he's going to start practicing this week probably, but I mean, look, he's a big guy. He's got to play himself back into shape. I don't think he's going to be able to give you a full game when week 1 gets here. So we'll see if they go with 5 or 6. I would lean towards them going with 6, but we'll see.
And you look at some of the other placeholders, like Jalen Harrell is on the roster. I wouldn't be shocked if maybe he is a waiver casualty.
It's amazing how with Andre Dillard gone, we didn't really notice Jalen Harrell in camp.
Yeah, it's funny.
The two things, I think he had a sack in the last game.
I think you're right.
And
yeah.
I like Jalen, but how is he different from all of their other defensive end edge guys?
And he's a guy who you could likely get through to the practice squad.
Probably. I mean, they're huge on that position now. Everybody's 265 plus, and Jalen Harrell is not. And so that I don't think he fits what they want. Now, if he could still get to the quarterback regularly, he would still fit.
Right.
But he's not the big guy on the edge. I mean, even Arden Key put on weight this season. They want him big, setting the edge, collapsing the pocket. And so I agree. I think Jalen Harrell, could be an odd man out if and I know there's several guys with some decent pass rushing ability who have sprung free.
Yes. And I think you look at the positions the Titans are going to claim, edge would be at the top of that list. I think corner is the obvious one.
Yeah, edge and corner and middle linebacker for me.
Gabe Jeudy-Lally, I think is Gabe Jeudy-Lally and Curtis Jacobs, you mentioned at inside linebacker. Those guys feel like obvious placeholders of, maybe they get through to the practice squad after, but they have to find somebody who can give them a little more solid depth.
They could also just add a fifth middle linebacker.
That's true. You could also keep Jacobs and add another one, but
because I was surprised with the low number there as well. Those guys get hurt a lot. I mean, it's a physical position.
Yeah. And special teamers, a lot of them are your safeties and your inside linebackers. Mm-hmm. So maybe you do want to keep a guy like Curtis Jacobs to be part of that. I think corner, you're going to see a claim. And there were a couple of interesting names out there. I know
Juju Brents
was the one that Teron Davenport brought up, that he's dealt with some injuries, but a guy who is long and fast.
6'2", I think. Yeah.
And that's something you take a chance on.
Yeah. You're looking at upside, as a building team, you're looking at upside. And that's, you go, what do you value? Like Gabe Jeudy-Lally has been a great teammate he's been a great depth piece for the Titans from this aspect. They know what they're getting.
Yep.
When they put him out there, they know what they're getting. They know he's going to be smart. They know he's going to tackle well and be engaged in the run game, but he's limited. They can't make him fast. They just can't. Right. And so you could pick up a Juju Brents and slide Gabe Jeudy-Lally, and I'm sorry if I'm doing this to you, Gabe. Slide him to the practice squad and probably be able to do it. But maybe not. And if not, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
He gets to go beyond somebody's 53.
But so, by the way, so if I should have looked this up. If you're on the active roster, I think you have to get through the first game. If you're on the opening 53 and you play the first game, your whole season salary is guaranteed.
That sounds right.
But I think you got to play that first game.
Right. Like, I don't think that
making the 53.
Right. Like, I don't think Brandon Crenshaw Dixon's full salary was guaranteed just for making the 53 yesterday.
Yeah.
And I've kind of wondered this, and maybe you have some insight on this. How do you think those conversations go yesterday with those players of like, well, hey, you made the team, but like waivers are coming down tomorrow?
I hope they're realistic, because you hear the stories about the guys who celebrate and go and buy a car or whatever. And, number one, their agents need to be giving them some guidance and saying, hey, you made the team. Congratulations. Have a beer, whatever. But there's a lot that happens this week, and it doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means they want experience. They have a relationship with this guy. There's a lot of things that can happen. I mean, players get cut. I mean, James Prochet, most of us didn't see him getting cut.
Yep.
But it happens in this league, and there's a different reason for everybody. Not everybody is just, you're just not good enough. Okay. I mean, that happens a lot, but it's not every time. And so, I think, as you're talking to Crochet, Ojokwu, all these guys, you're like, hey guys, congratulations. As this is a business. We've got waiver claims. We're first in line. I'm not sitting here saying you're going to be out of a job tomorrow by any means. I'm just saying the 53 we have today is probably not going to be the 53 we have tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think you're right that it's not, they have to make it clear that it's not that you're not good enough, because you wouldn't make the initial 53 if you didn't do something.
You're an NFL football player.
Right.
We're telling you that.
But I would guess
we have 1,800 players to sift through.
Yes. Yes.
that were also on rosters.
Right. Like there's a lot of good players out there, and the Titans kept these guys because I think they want to keep them around. It's
Yeah.
just all of
Like anybody that they cut today is going to be on their practice squad unless somebody else claims them.
yes.
That is safe to say.
Yes.
I mean, there are guys they cut yesterday who I think are, I mean, like James Prochet, I would look for them to add him to their practice
I think
squad.
they want Restrepo on the practice squad too, but obviously you have to
Well,
get
Trevor Siemian for certain will be on the practice squad. There's a bunch of there are a bunch of those guys.
Here's a question from Ben on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Who would the Titans potentially drop today that would be the biggest surprise? I think the answer, and again, because it would be a surprise, I think it's Brandon Allen. I think that is the one surprise that is somewhat realistic.
Yeah, I mean, like a
that could
Taylor
happen.
Heineke's out there,
Right.
and yes, that would be a surprise to me because a lot of people will rank Brandon Allen 32nd among the second
Yeah, I
team
saw. I think it was
quarterbacks.
FanDuel put
Yeah,
out that list.
but he's not 32nd to Brian Callahan. Okay. For Brian Callahan, he knows his offense. And, for Brian Callahan, he says he had a really good camp.
Yep.
All right. He's very happy with Brandon Allen. And I think he's very happy with what Brandon Allen brings to the guy, Cam Ward, who's taking the
Right.
snaps. And so there's value in that. And from that aspect, it would surprise me. Okay. But you may view a guy like Taylor Heineke and say, you know what, he's a clear upgrade.
Yeah.
And if we have an injury, he might be able to win us a couple games. So, I don't know if you think you're in that position with your roster anyway. So we wait and we see.
Right. I would put the chances of Brandon Allen getting cut and the Titans claiming a quarterback at maybe 5%, if that. But there's always a chance
Yeah.
if they feel like I think Heineke would be the guy out there
Yeah,
that
I know Desmond Ritter got cut.
Yeah, Desmond Ritter got cut by the Bengals.
I don't think he's worth.
I mean,
if you could bring one of these guys in as your third,
right.
but I mean, again, Simeon knows what Brian Callahan wants. He knows the organization. And if you're on to your third quarterback, your season's over anyway.
Yeah, and
Come on.
you're not going to claim a guy off waivers to be your third quarterback.
Well, no, you wouldn't claim him, but you
might be able to bring him
sign
in
into your practice squad. Yeah.
Right, instead of Trevor Siemian.
Yeah.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you have questions, thoughts on the Titans 53-man roster, we will get to them. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We mentioned probably the biggest surprise yesterday was James Prochet being cut.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really any opportunities for a whole lot of surprises.
No, they don't have enough good players.
Right. Everybody kind of looked at the Titans roster and said, there's not 53 guys really worthy of being on this roster right now. And that's why they're going to probably have a few different waiver claims. But James Prochet being cut was probably the biggest surprise. What is the Titans' plan at punt returner? We'll talk about that coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 102.5 The Game. This isn't just a concert, it's a cause. Trinetics Rock the Cradle helps give fragile newborns a stronger start and keeps moms close when it matters most. With Tim McGraw live on stage and your support behind every beat, Ascension St. Thomas is turning music into healing. Tickets are on sale now at rockthecradlenashville.org. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Titans got down to their initial 53 yesterday. Again, waiver claims come out about 90 minutes from now, so expect some more roster churning over there. But the big surprise yesterday, if there was one, was that James Prochet was released. I think everybody, at least all the projections I saw, had the Titans keeping 7 wide receivers, and James Prochet was going to be the punt returner. They elected to cut him. I think the expectation is they want him back on the practice squad. But for now, you only have 6 wide receivers, and kind of by default, Chim Dike likely slots in as your punt returner, barring anything else changing over the next couple of days.
Well, look, I can tell you this. They want Chim Dike to be their punt returner. That when they drafted him, they wanted him to be their punt returner. The question is, do they trust him at this point to be the punt returner? Bones Fossil said just over a week ago that he didn't.
Yes.
That he hadn't won it yet. Now, he did return punts Friday night. I don't remember how many that he returned, but he did it without incident. And there were a couple that I remember because he caught one in Atlanta on the fly as well, where he was like running and caught it.
Slid.
Yeah. And, when I watched, I like his confidence. He didn't look like he was, boxing it. He looked like, I'm going to go run and go get it.
Right.
So look, I don't know. This is my expectation and probably what I would do. Assign Prochet to the practice squad, certainly elevate him for Denver, maybe the next week in LA as well, and then turn the job over to DK. The problem here is if Prochet is up, then all likely scenarios mean DK is down.
Yeah, you can't have 7 wide receivers active on game day.
No, you can't, and you need to get him active and you need to get him developing. I mean, this team is not challenging for the Super Bowl. All right. This is about developing young players and developing a team for 2026 and 2027. And Chim Dike needs to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Or you need to find out that he's not.
Yeah. I think there are 3 possible scenarios for why they cut James Prochet. The least likely, which I heard somebody bring up, was they found somebody else out there that they like better, that they're going to claim.
Sure. I mean, Trey Palmer got cut.
Right. I think that's unlikely, but it's possible that Mike Borgonzi, through his infinite watching of preseason games that he's been talking about, that he found somebody he likes better for James Prochet role.
He's got a whole staff of guys
right
going through all the cuts. And look, they know. I always remember when the Titans picked up Ryan Suckup. They had no kicker in camp. They had like 2 rookies. It was horrible. But they knew Cairo Santos or Suckup were going to shake free.
Yeah.
And they just waited. And so these teams know, like, they circle guys from teams and say, this guy could pop free.
Right.
And we're really interested. So they know that, I would say, and I'm speaking for them. They may say something differently. They have guys circled really like before camp, during camp, more than, okay, today who's available?
Right.
Look, they're not getting 1,800 and going through the list and going, all right, does anybody know this guy? Does anybody know this guy? They're anxiously awaiting the Chiefs,
right,
saying, are the Chiefs going to dump, Roger D? Okay, because if they do, we want our guy.
Roger.
Yes, that's what they're waiting for.
Yes, I think you can pretty much safely assume that Borgonzi and his staff, they probably have 20 cornerbacks circled and 15 edge rushers circled. And it's like, all right, here's how we feel about these guys.
Here's how we rank them.
Right. If edge rusher A gets released, we claim him, and so on down the list. And that's probably what they're going through right now. I don't think they're going to go get a wide receiver. I would say that would be towards the bottom of the priority list. But who knows? Maybe.
Well, I mean, do you want somebody who's going to play over Manor and DK?
Right.
No, unless they're a star.
And you already have Van Jefferson and Tyler Lockett, who are kind of
you already got those.
Those are the placeholders for Manor and
those
DK.
are the guys you would pick up on the waiver wire. Like, oh, Van Jefferson's available. He can come in here and play something for us.
So I would doubt it. I think much more likely either they feel DK has earned the punt returner job, or like you're saying, they're going to have Prochet just kind of be this temporary practice squad elevation until they feel like Chimdike's ready.
The only concern you have with putting him out there too early is it goes bad and he loses his confidence.
Right.
We've seen it a couple times.
Jaquan Jackson last year.
And Kyle Phillips.
Yes.
Kyle Phillips' college tape was amazing.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. And I thought Kyle Phillips was going to be a good player for quite a while for this team. And he just got exploded all the time. But
after his rookie training camp, I was telling my friends, like, Kyle Phillips might win offensive rookie of the year. Like, I
didn't say that.
I was ready for considering the odds. I wasn't actually like thinking it was going to happen, but I was like, hey, if you want a value pick, this is a guy. This is why I was in college.
You were getting really excited, weren't you?
I mean, and you look back at the Giants game.
Well,
game,
what were his numbers? Because he was Tannehill's favorite target coming out of camp. I think he had like 6 catches on 9 targets.
Right. That Giants game, he had a huge game, and then he got hurt at the very end of it. I think was it a hamstring?
I don't know. He was always hurt.
Yeah, it's a good point.
But we've had a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great first game, and then he kind of just fell off a cliff because of the injuries. But I thought Kyle Phillips was going to be a stud, and it just never worked out here. Not that I feel the same way about Chimdike. I'm not acting like he's going to have a huge rookie season, but you're right. You don't want to kill his confidence if he goes out in Denver and fumbles on his first punt return. That can be debilitating for a young player.
Yep.
So I think that's the best idea is if you can get Prochet back on the practice squad, elevate him for week 1, see how he does, and keep evaluating Chimdike in practice until you feel like he's ready.
Yeah, I think that would be my plan, but we'll see what their plan is. And maybe somebody else wants James Prochet. Maybe somebody watched James Prochet this preseason and said, we like that guy.
Right. And James Prochet, apparently he was making plays in some of the joint practices too. So maybe, I mean, the Bucs are pretty deep at wide receiver. I couldn't see them, but maybe the Falcons or somebody like that would say I don't think the Bucs will do that with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Emeka Egbuka. All the guys they have down there.
Who you could get at a reasonable price in a fantasy draft. I'm like looking at him in like the 4th and 5th rounds. I'm like, I'll take Egbuka.
Yeah.
He could be the best one before the season's over.
When the draft process started, my dream was the Titans take Cam Ward 1 and get Egbuka to start the second round. And
I'm with you.
By the combine, that was a pipe dream because Egbuka was a firm first-round pick.
Good player.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'd love to hear from you. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll take a quick break on the Titans. There was an announcement from Kellen Moore and the Saints yesterday. They finally picked a starting quarterback, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because
it's not worth it.
It's not really worth it, but could the Saints be one of the worst teams we've seen in a very long time?
Yes.
We will talk about that coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you on this Wednesday. Next Man Up, 102.5 The Game. Tune in for the Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix race on 102.5 The Game this Sunday. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. and is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you on this Wednesday morning. Titans cut down their roster to 53 yesterday. Waiver claims are just over an hour away from being announced. So we will let you know who the Titans claim with their top waiver priority and who ends up moving on to waivers tomorrow, and the Titans hopefully will want to get back on the practice squad. Quickly want to shift down south to the Bayou, where yesterday Kellen Moore announced that Spencer Rattler, the former Oklahoma and South Carolina quarterback, will be their starter this year. Maybe one of the worst quarterback competitions of all time. Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck, and Jake Haener from Fresno State. So the Saints now have spent a second-round pick on a 26-year-old quarterback in Tyler Shuck. He might even be 27.
Is he that old?
I think so.
Wow.
He was a seventh-year
player.
Like
the Brandon Weeden.
Yes. Yeah. Like Brandon Weeden coming out of Oklahoma State. And he is not going to start his rookie season over Spencer Rattler. There's a chance we might be seeing a 1 to 2 win team in the Saints this year, if that, because there's just not a whole lot of redeeming qualities on that roster.
Look, I grew up in Chicago. Everybody knows that. Or if you don't, I grew up in Chicago. I've seen my share of bad quarterback rooms. This will go over your head. I grew up with Bob Avellini and Vince Evans, Bob Avellini and Mike Phipps. I mean, they had some horrifically bad quarterback rooms. This one is worse. This one is worse. I mean, to me, they're all threes.
Yeah. I don't
threes.
even think any of these guys are backups.
These guys are all practice squad. And look, I say that they'll come up here and beat the Titans. Fine. That still doesn't make them good. They are the major league of the NFL. They are built to lose. There are 5 quality quarterbacks right now looking like coming into the draft. I'm frankly surprised they spent a second. Maybe they were hoping they would just get lucky on Tyler Shuck, because now you're gonna be like the Titans,
right?
You burn a second, now you're gonna burn a first. I mean, Titans burned a third, second, and then a first. They're gonna burn a second, and they're gonna burn a first this year. There's no way around it. I mean, I told you in the break, if the Titans traded Brandon Allen to this team, he would start. Okay, he's better than all the guys they've got. I remember I was down there in New Orleans for the preseason game last year, watching Spencer Rattler and just shaking my head. I remember when he was at Oklahoma and he was the front runner for the Heisman.
I mean, he was a high-level 5-star recruit coming out of high school.
And then Caleb Williams came in and he was a Gamecock.
Yes. And, Spencer Rattler had his moments. Sorry, Tennessee fans.
No, look, just because you're not making it in the NFL doesn't mean you weren't a great college player. I mean, I don't know if he was a great college player. He was a good college player.
Adam Vingan has texted me on my personal text line. He says, from Adam in East Nashville, as a noted Saints fan, Spencer Rattler, 5 vomit emojis is what he sent. So there you go. That is our resident Saints fans take on Spencer Rattler.
When that's your best choice, I mean, unless it's what you want, if you want to lose, okay? But if that is your best choice, you have failed completely as an organization to address that position realistically.
And I think they want to bring the hometown kid back to New Orleans.
Well, they better hope he lives up to it.
Arch Manning.
Because he hasn't proven it at this point.
Well, it could also be Garrett Nussmeier. His dad is on staff with the Saints. Sure. So I think they've got there too. They've got Arch's the dream.
They could also draft another Gamecock.
That is true. Go get Lenore Sellers and bring him in. You make the point of wasting a second-round pick. Here are the day 2 quarterbacks who have been taken over the last couple of years. We won't mention this year because we don't know what those guys are going to end up being. None of them, no day 2 quarterbacks in 2024. Spencer Rattler was actually the highest picked non-first rounder.
Was he a 4 or 5?
5. Yeah. So from the 12th pick to the 150th pick, there were no quarterbacks taken. 2023, Will Levis, Hendon Hooker. We've had that conversation.
And that one that didn't work out.
2022, Desmond Ridder, Malik Willis, Matt Corral. 2021.
Is Matt Corral still in the league?
I don't believe he is. He might be in the UFL.
He got hurt a bunch.
Yes.
He got hurt a bunch. And Malik, looks like he's carving out a career for himself, but not a starter.
Yeah. 2021, Kyle Trask, who he was just released, Davis Mills and Kellen Mond. 2020.
You remember when the Texans were trying to sell that Davis Mills,
right? They thought he was the guy,
and that if he had stayed another year, might have been the first pick of the draft the next year.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, guys.
I mean, if they drafted off of neck length, I think he would be
that was back when the Texans were not a serious organization.
Yes. And it's funny how a quarterback and a new head coach can change all that.
Well, it's funny how when you don't have the team chaplain making all the picks for you anymore.
The only one I can find who was picked on day 2, who's actually panned out in the last couple of years, of course, is Super Bowl champion Jalen Hurts. He was picked in 2020 with the 53rd pick, but you keep going back. Drew Lock and Will Grier in 2019.
There's a reason all these guys weren't taken in the first round.
It might be
and they were proven correct.
It might be the biggest waste of a pick to pick a quarterback in the second or third round, because the Titans did it back-to-back years. They took Malik Willis and Will Levis. Neither of those guys will ever play a snap for the Titans again, obviously. And I mean, you keep looking back, Deshaun Kaiser, Davis Webb,
Desmond Ridder was a second rounder, wasn't
he? He was a third rounder. He was picked right before Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Christian Hackenberg, Jacoby Brissett, Cody Kessler. Like, these are all the names that get taken on day 2. The Saints, they lit the 40th pick on fire by taking Tyler Shuck, it seems.
Yeah.
We could be proven wrong. Maybe this, and he's only 25.
Yeah.
He'll be 26 next month. So I overestimated his age a little bit. So who knows? Maybe he'll figure it out. But right now, it seems like it was just a waste of a pick. At the 40th pick, you could have gotten a really good player.
If you are a Saints scalper where you buy tickets in advance to sell, I mean, you are going to take a bath this year.
Yep.
I mean, look, we all like Alvin Kamara, but he's getting older. He's not getting younger. He's getting older, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him traded at some point because they're in full rebuild. I mean, even Cam Jordan. I mean, Cam Jordan's old. I'm surprised he's still there. But maybe somebody needs him for the stretch run.
Right.
They should be in free mode of
fire sale.
Yeah. Who needs it? Who needs it? Because we are awful.
And like Chris Olave is one of the only young pieces they have there.
Who's going to get him the football?
And he can't stay healthy.
No, he pulls his hamstring every other week.
So
he's been on my fantasy team twice. It's a nightmare.
The Saints, I hate to say it for Adam Vingan and the Saints fans out there, but there is a chance that's a team that you're like, anybody who thinks the Titans might be the worst team in the league this year on paper, go look at the Saints roster.
No.
And you'll find that it can be, the grass isn't always greener somewhere else.
I always do my power rankings, and I haven't done my preseason, before the preseason finish power rankings yet. Those will come out soon. And I can tell you without even thinking or looking, the Saints will be 32.
Yep. I think that's easy enough. The Browns would probably be close, but I think the Saints might be in a league of their own.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can name some players on the Browns.
You got Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jeudy's there. Mm-hmm. Like there's at least some talented players on that team. The Saints, there's a few.
You got Vols, you got Sampson, and you got Tillman.
Yeah. And I believe Quinshon Judkins is going to sign soon there because they only kept 2 running backs on their 53. I think Judkins will be joining soon. Josh in the YouTube chat mentions Derek Carr and Russell Wilson. I think those 2 guys are a reason why teams keep trying this and saying like, well, they found quarterbacks in the second round.
That was a while ago.
I just went through 10 years of draft classes, and the only guy who is a starter in the NFL and has been a consistent starter in the NFL is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, you could also go back to Joe Montana and Tom Brady, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's was he Mr. Relevant or just a 7th?
He was Mr. Relevant, yeah.
Yeah. So they are there. You will find, but you're talking about like taking a guy in the 7th,
right?
All right, or taking a guy in the 6th. Where the cost is not what it is in the second. This should be a starter for your football team.
Yep.
If it's not the quarterback, if you're taking a receiver or an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman, this is a guy who needs to come in right away and play for your football team. That's why we look at Femi Oladeju and go, I mean, he's a developmental piece. This is awful high pick for a developmental piece.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to be critical of that, you certainly have to be critical of taking a quarterback who can't come in and beat out Spencer Rattler.
Right. I mean, it's you look at the first round picks at quarterback, and I heard DVD talking about this last week about how it kind of is a coin flip when you take a quarterback in the top 10. It's like
Sure.
about 50-50 of those guys end up getting second contracts and being quote unquote franchise quarterbacks. Picking a quarterback outside of the first round is like shooting a 3/4 court shot in basketball.
Yeah,
It's like,
and not many quarterbacks who get drafted in the first round, like, there's usually no disagreement about that.
yeah,
I mean, somebody was gonna I mean, like, I know people were surprised about the Falcons and Michael Penix.
right.
He was gonna get
He was
taken
a
in
first round
yeah,
pick.
he
Yeah.
was gonna get taken. Now, Jackson Dart, that was a surprise.
Yeah.
We it as the draft wore on, you heard more and more that someone could trade up into the first to get him, but, we all expected him to go in the second. By the way, another second-round pick is Lamar Jackson.
No, first round pick.
Was he the last?
32nd pick. The
So he was
Ravens
last pick.
traded
Okay,
back in to get him.
and get the
But
fifth year.
yes,
That's right.
I guess that's a caveat because if the Ravens hadn't traded up, he would have fallen
Yeah.
out of the first round. So it doesn't seem like it's a good strategy to take quarterbacks on day two.
Again, there's a reason they slid out of the first round.
Right.
Because if they're the guy, if people view them as the guy, they go in the first round.
Yep.
That's the whole thing about Shedeur Sanders, where everybody, blah. If he was the guy, somebody would have taken him.
Yes. Even with, like, you look at personality issues, like there were personality questions about Caleb Williams coming out, but he was talented enough that he still went number 1 overall.
Yeah, without much thought.
Right. So you can't, if a guy has the talent to do it, he'll go in the first round. Wes in Clarksville says, don't forget when we wasted a pick on Cole McDonald just to cut him. Out of Hawaii.
But he was terrible.
One of the strangest releases of all time. Like, he brought it down here before he let it go. Also, shout out Luke Falk, part of the 4-man 2018 draft class with Dane Cruikshank, Harold Landry, and Rashawn Evans.
I remember when we saw Cole McDonald and we were like, okay, he put up some numbers. And then when I saw him in camp, that dude couldn't complete passes against air.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this guy's horrible. And you could see it written all over the coaches' faces. Like, they were just like, he's terrible. And, I don't like disparaging people, but that was a horrible, horrible pick.
It was in the 7th round. I remember
it was burning a 7th round pick with a flamethrower.
That was 2020, and I remember watching that draft and wanting them to just take Rodrigo Blankenship with that pick because he was still on the board. He went undrafted, and he was kind of the big hot kicker coming out of Georgia. Obviously,
even though he lost the game to the Gamecocks.
Yes, and he didn't pan out either with the Colts. 615-737.
But he would have been a better pick.
Yeah, then Cole. For sure, because Blankenship at least makes the team. So there you go. 615-737-1025 is our phone number if you have thoughts. We'll get back into the Titans and their initial 53-man roster. Tajay Spears has been sent to short-term IR. Do the Titans have enough at running back with him out for the first 4 weeks? We'll talk about it coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Second hour, next man up, 1025. The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory, Curtis, Parker, Kelly with you on this Wednesday, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Titans cut down their roster to 53 yesterday. It does look like they are going to make some waiver claims based on the way that they align that roster. 11 offensive linemen and a couple of placeholders on the defensive side. We are getting some updates from Justin Mello on X of who the Titans might add to the practice squad if they get through waivers. He has reported that Cam Horsley will be added to their practice squad if he clears waivers, along with Jamar Jefferson and Xavier Restrepo. So we will see in the next hour if those guys do clear waivers, but I would assume that those three will be added to the practice.
So Jefferson makes it over Mims.
Mims, I guess so.
Because he was always behind Mims in the order in the preseason games, but I thought looked pretty good every time he got to carry the football.
Yep.
He's more of a load. I mean, he's
right, bigger guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's thicker in the hips and he's a load. But he also can catch the football. So that would be bad news for Julius Chestnut. It doesn't mean Chestnut would be a cut, but it would likely cut into his carries.
Well, speaking of running backs, yesterday the Titans officially announced that Tajay Spears is going on IR, designated to return.
Familiar territory.
He will miss, yes, not somewhere he hasn't been before, and he will miss 4 weeks to start the season at a minimum. Do you think, Cory, the Titans have enough at running back to survive for that 4 weeks without him? Or could maybe you see a roster or a waiver claim? I know Audric Estime from the Broncos has been the popular name that has been out there.
I mean, is Audric Estime that much better than what they've got?
That's what TD was saying yesterday.
I mean, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I realize my opinion may not be very popular, and I don't care. So go ahead and rip me up and down. I don't care. It is an extremely disposable position. We have seen that year over year. Derrick Henry was unbelievable for this team. There is no questioning that whatsoever. And I'm not saying you can dispose of a Derrick Henry. But when Derrick Henry got hurt, the Titans brought in Cedric, the kid from Texas. Benson.
No.
Foreman?
Dante Foreman.
Yeah, Dante Foreman. And he tore it up. Now, he was a 2,000-yard rusher at Texas. Okay. He was third on my Heisman ballot that year.
Really good player.
And stuck around this league a long time. And had he not run into some personal problems down in Houston as a rookie or a second-year player, probably would have had a better career with them. But I'm just saying, you can find guys to carry the football. I mean, they got 4 of them. All right. I mean, Mims played with the Saints, right?
Yep.
And Jefferson with Mims was the Lions and Jefferson was the Saints. They're both NFL players. All right. And they're 4 and 5. All right.
Yep.
And so they're going to keep one of them. So I'm good with it. I'll say something. I heard Joe before. Hot take, whatever. I think if you gave Julius Chestnut enough carries, he could rush for 1,000 yards. Okay. I think he could average 4 yards a carry.
I could see it. I mean, Chestnut, every time he gets the ball, it's not.
He's good with the ball in his hands.
He shows what he can do.
Yeah. He's good with the ball in his hands. I mean, he's shown it in the preseason. He can run the football. Is he the fastest guy? No, but he is good at catching the football. He is good in open space. He does get his pads low. All right. He can finish runs. There's a reason he sticks around. Okay. And that's because he makes plays. I mean, I always say Josh Wiley got cut. Is there a play Josh Wiley made in the last 2 years that you remember? No.
Not off the top of my head. I mean, I know he's had some touchdown catches, but I can't think
just standing there.
Right. Yeah. There's nothing specific that stands out.
I remember plays from Julius Chestnut. He had one Friday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
The hurdle.
Yeah. And I remember in Minnesota a couple of years ago, he tore it up.
Yeah.
Now it was a preseason game, but he made plays. I've seen him in practice make plays. I saw him catch a pass in the open field and put a jump cut on a dude and leave him in the dust. All right. He made plays. I'm not saying that the Titans should just go all in on Julius Chestnut. I'm just saying for 4 games, I'm fine with Julius Chestnut.
Right. I think it's possible the Titans make a move and bring in a running back, but are you bringing in that guy and cutting someone else just for those 4 weeks when Tajay,
when you can have Jefferson on the practice squad and elevate him.
Right. If you have to, and Julius Chestnut can be good enough Maybe it depends on if Kalel Mullings is more hurt than they're letting on.
Well,
But
and Kalel Mullings is not ready to play because he's not ready to pass protect.
Right.
And it's just that simple. Now, I don't know if they've got a role for him on special teams or not, because that changes things, but he needs more time in pass protection. Look, he needs to make the 53. He's a draft pick, and he does have some ability.
Yeah.
But with a rookie quarterback out there, you cannot risk him, okay? Because your rookie running back isn't ready to pass protect yet.
Yeah.
And I talked to Julius Chestnut about this. He's in year 4, and he says he is light years in pass protection ahead of where he was as a rookie. It's just not the same thing. Ask the kid from Atlanta who Cedric Gray destroyed.
Lit up. Yeah.
It's not the same league. All right. And
Very
so,
good point.
So Mullings has got to get used to that. So I could see Mullings being down a couple of weeks to start the season, and Justin Jefferson, or Jamar Jefferson, sorry, Jamar Jefferson being up. And I have no problem with that at all. Like, if you want Estime, fine. But you know what? He's not the guy.
It probably is just a name people recognize.
He's on the street.
It's like, oh, he played at Notre Dame. Maybe that could be a guy. I'm
a Notre Dame fan. I'm all about it. Kyron Williams, go. But that I don't care. I don't care.
I agree. I think it would kind of be redundant to bring in an extra running back when Tajay is going to be back in 4 weeks.
These guys make your team for a reason.
Right.
I mean, he's on your team in case someone gets hurt and he needs to play.
Yeah.
So here we are. So what are we talking about?
You mentioned Josh Wiley. You put your poll out there yesterday of 3 players.
I put out a poll on X yesterday. It's still up if you want to vote for it. That's at Cory Curtis 2. I said Kinsey, Odukoya, Josh Wiley. These are all Vrabel favorites. How many of these guys wind up Patriots in the next 50 minutes? It was by tomorrow. And the choices were 0, 1, 2, and 3.
Right now, the results:
2 is winning.
2 is winning at about 42%.
That's right.
1 has 26%. That was my selection. 3 at 19%, and 0, the lowest, at 13%.
Yeah, I mean, only 1 in 10 people think Vrabel's not going to touch any of these guys.
One of them. If I had to pick one, I think it's Wiley. But would any of them shock me? No. I think Mason Kinsey.
That would be the biggest surprise.
It would be the biggest surprise because he did tweet the Simpsons meme of him being thrown out again.
I love his attitude.
I'm waiting for 11:15 when we get his next tweet of him standing behind the guy.
Would you be surprised if they brought him back?
No.
I mean, you can trust him. You can count on him. You know what you're getting. I mean, and you know the intensity he brings to the practice field. That's got value. All right. You know, you need your practice squad guys to contribute during practice. And, you know, Mason Kinsey works hard.
Right.
Works hard. And if you needed to bring him up to play, which they've had to do, has he lit it up? No. Has he lost them a game? No. All right. He can return punts. He could return kicks. He can go out playing receiver. And he has shown in a preseason game he can play quarterback.
That is very true. He can be your emergency 4th quarterback.
Now, Tyler Boyd's gone now. So who's the emergency QB this year?
That's Mason Kinsey.
Might be Johnny Hecker.
Yeah.
Johnny Hecker.
Yeah, he's done it before.
He was a quarterback before he was a punter.
There we go. Johnny Hecker. I would love to see him in there tossing it around if it gets to that point. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get to some of your texts coming up next. Also, the Titans are 45 minutes away from, I guess they probably already put their claims in. We'll find out in about 45 minutes.
I hope they have.
What the Titans have done and where those moves could come on the defensive side of the ball. Corner and edge are the 2 big spots. Who could the Titans go out and claim? We'll talk about it coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Tune into ESPN 94.9 The Fan this Sunday at 2 p.m. for our college football game of the week, Virginia Tech versus South Carolina, the Beamer Bowl, presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants, Circus Sportsbook, and Macero and 12 South. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Take your tailgate to Twin Peaks, home of 29-degree drafts and wall-to-wall sports. Don't think that one's going to go too well for my Hokies on Sunday, but who knows?
Well, if you're Vanderbilt, I mean, you're hoping that South Carolina just beats the stew out of them.
Yep.
And has them as banged up as possible for when you play them.
Yes. Vandy, South Carolina, and Virginia Tech are playing a pseudo round robin over the first 3 weeks of the season. The Hokies play the Gamecocks week 1. Vandy plays the Hokies week 2, and then Vandy plays South Carolina week 3. So we'll see how all that works out. Going to be a great weekend of football. We'll get into that coming up next. I do want to mention before we get back into the Titans, Matthew in Nashville texting, alerting us that from ESPN PR and Brooks Bratton of the Predators, the Preds with a couple of primetime games that were announced. They will appear on TNT on December 9th facing Colorado, and also on ESPN Plus and Hulu on December 23rd against the Wild in Minnesota. So there you go. Couple of national TV games for the Preds, as they are they just a month out from preseason?
Maybe not even.
Maybe crazy.
I mean, they're just a couple weeks away from camp.
The hockey offseason flies by.
I mean, the hockey offseason is so weird.
Right.
Because they practice for like 2 days and then they start playing.
Yes. The first preseason game is like 2 days after the camp opens.
That's what I'm saying.
So
they practice like 2 days and they go, hey, let's go play.
Yep. So excited for Pred season. Couple of national TV games there. Titans are about 40 minutes away from announcing their waiver claims, and we'll see where they go.
Well, they've got to be awarded them by the league.
Right, yeah.
So they're not going to announce these are the guys we put claims in on.
No, well, anybody they put claims in on, they're going to get.
Well, yes, they are. That's true. That's yes. So they could put out that list.
Yes.
But yes. So yeah,
so
that's an interesting scenario that I did not think about.
Yeah,
they could just say, "Hey, we put claims in on these guys."
These are the guys we put claims in on, and they are now part of our team.
I'm sure they're going to wait for the league,
right,
to process them all.
The league will send that out to the teams at 11 a.m., and I'm sure shortly after that we will be alerted to who the Titans have added to their team.
It would be great though if the Titans sent out an email.
It would be nice, yeah. Hey, we claim these players.
So Dwight, just shoot me an email, 11:01, buddy.
Send it on over. We will give you the news on the waiver claims as we are alerted to them. I assume we will get that shortly after the 11 a.m. hour. Another player that Justin Mello is reporting will be added to the practice squad if he gets through waivers, Kendall Brooks, who had the pick 6 against Atlanta.
I think that would be a great addition. He's a good athlete. He had the pick 6, which we all remember, but I thought he showed up as well.
Yeah.
And he's a guy where if you have an injury at safety, I think you don't feel terrible about moving him up. Like if Diggs goes down or Winston's knee just isn't ready.
Especially in a deep room like that where he wouldn't have to hop in and immediately be a huge contributor, but he could give you quality snaps.
Yeah, and can play special teams. Went to Michigan State. He's from a little town called Swansea, South Carolina.
Wow.
I've been there. I worked in Columbia for 7 years.
Right.
And Swansea is just outside of Columbia. It's literally like one of those one stoplight towns where everybody goes to the game on Friday night because that's all there is to do.
Yeah.
I went to a diner in Swansea where like they had the original hardwood floor in it, and there was a giant hole in it.
Oh.
But it's where everybody goes to eat.
I love it.
So, when he got the pick 6 and I was on the sideline, I said, Swansea. And he looks at me, he goes, Swansea? I'm like, I've been to Swansea. And so we had a good talk about that after the game. It's a lot of inside baseball, but good kid.
Yeah.
Good kid. And he's what I call a football player. And so I think he's a good addition to the practice squad.
And if you're out there planning a vacation, add Swansea, South Carolina to the list.
They could use the dollars.
Yeah. the tourist destination out there. Titans, likely, I would say minimum 3 waiver claims are going to be made. I would say up to 5. I would guess somewhere in that range. The 2 positions where I think they have to make a move, cornerback, edge. Cornerback, there's a couple of interesting names. We mentioned Juju Brents, former second-round pick of the Colts, athlete, 6'2". He's fast, injured last year. From the Ravens, Jalen Armour-Davis is another guy.
A relationship with
Denard Wilson. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting picked
up.
Or
both.
Right. Why not both?
Yeah.
I mean, Gabe Judy Lally, I think, is a placeholder, but you could carry 7 corners.
Well, they've got to play special teams.
Right.
And so who plays? Because like I've said, the core special teams players are Brown, he's a safety.
Yep.
Martin Robinson, he's a third tight end, and then
Bryce Oliver.
Bryce Oliver, who's you could say your sixth, fifth, whatever
Yeah.
you want, wide receiver. But those, so you don't have any. I don't know who the fourth is. Okay. So whether it be a linebacker or a corner, they got to come up with that last core 4 piece.
I think one of those corners, if not both, probably going to be claims for the Titans. And who knows, maybe they have another guy they have their eyes on.
Now, Borgo's put a lot of value on availability.
Right.
So
and both those guys were hurt last year.
And so you've got to ask, what are you getting there? Now, again, you're a developmental team, and you got a guy who was a second-round pick 2 years ago. Was he released because he's not good enough? Was he released because he got sideways with the coaching staff? Or, look, a lot of guys the year after they're injured that they come back to play, they're not the same. Okay. It takes a while to come back for some guys. And so, you're developing a team. If you think, hey, he's just 6 months away from being back to the guy who was a second round pick, deactivate him on game day and bring him in.
Yeah, and you don't know all of the circumstances. I'm sure Mike Borgonzi is doing as much research as he can before he puts the claim in.
Hopefully more research than was done on Andre Dillard and Vic Beasley.
Yeah, that would be nice. And then at the edge position, Justin Mello, who we're crediting a lot this morning, he put out the highest graded pass rushers during the preseason available for the Titans to claim on waivers. The top one is a former Virginia Tech Hokie, Antoine Powell-Ryland, who he was a buzzy day 3 pick. I believe, was it the Jaguars who picked him? I can't remember who picked him up, but he was waived.
There's a kid from Washington State who had like 3 sacks in the preseason who got waived.
He was waived by the Eagles. Antoine Powell-Ryland was waived by the Eagles. So he's a guy, he had 25 sacks in 2 years, I believe, at Virginia Tech. He has short arms, but
how big is he?
He's not a huge guy.
Then he's not going to fit for this team.
Right. Unless you're looking for a guy who's bendy, I don't know if that's where you go, but he was a guy who had a little bit of buzz coming out of the draft. It was more about like production versus traits. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the battle you fight in the draft.
Football player.
Yeah. Like this guy, he got a lot of sacks, but in terms of central casting for an edge rusher, he didn't really fit the mold. So we'll see where they like to go. Other names on that list from Justin Mello: Nate Lynn, who was with the Lions, Isaiah Land, Grayson Murphy, Patrick Johnson. So
what about the kid from New England?
Who is that? Braden Swanson. Yeah, that could be an option too.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me. Just like with corners, wouldn't shock me if maybe they brought in 2 edge rushers too. It kind of just depends where they want to devote the resources on this roster.
Yeah. I mean, look, it'd be interesting if they could get Jalen Harrell down to the practice squad. How he would feel about that, I don't know, but you take a job when you can get it. But I would think they're going to take somebody there, but it's going to be somebody big who can set the edge and can hold the pocket in. And so it's just who fits what this team wants. Because, I mean, they lost Lorenzo Carter. Who did they replace him with? Jod Ward.
Yeah.
Who's 285 pounds.
Right.
Okay. And by the way, I think is an upgrade over Lorenzo Carter. So I think that was a good signing for them. And I've liked what I've seen from him. I'm not saying like he's a difference maker out there, but I think he's an NFL player. Okay. I think you can put him out there and he'll play and you won't be embarrassed and you won't be, oh God, we got to get this guy off the field. All right. I've seen plenty of that.
Yeah.
But so I like the Jod Ward signing.
He's been good in the preseason so far. More news again from Justin Mello. The Titans also intend to add Jordan Mims to their practice squad.
So they're going to add both backs.
So if they add both backs, I think you can fairly safely assume they are not going to claim a running back on the waiver wire.
Yeah,
so
that's good detective work by you, Jake.
So let's quickly. I had one more thing I wanted to get to. We're going to get to some college football here, but the Ryder Cup picks have just come out.
Oh my goodness!
From Keegan Bradley.
Can you take guys who play on the Live Tour?
Yes, you can. There are, let's see, at least one.
Shambo?
Yeah, Bryson DeChambeau's on there. So Keegan Bradley did not pick himself. Keegan Bradley is the captain. He did not pick himself. Here are the players for the Ryder Cup, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks. Scotty Scheffler, J.J. Spawn, Xander Schauffele, Russell Henley, Harris English, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Lando Griffin, Cameron Young, Patrick Cantlay, and Sam Burns.
And what happened to Jordan Spieth?
Yeah, no Spieth.
I mean, I thought he was going to be a star.
Yeah. I mean, Spieth, when he came up, he was the closest thing to Tiger in his youth
he was,
that we've seen.
And then he came on and you're like, wow, this guy's really good.
And he just choked a couple times, and it seems like he lost his confidence.
So I've always heard he was so hard on himself.
Right.
And that can be debilitating.
So Ryder Cup coming up. I believe that is the third weekend in September.
Yeah. By the way, if I'm playing pairs, can I play with?
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler.
Yes, I think whoever Scotty Scheffler's teammate is. Yeah. Hey, you pick me up here.
You want to play best ball today? All right, we're good.
You got it. I'm just going to go out there and mess around. Scotty can take care of it.
He's just sitting there eating like ham sandwiches,
drinking a beer,
smoking a cigar.
You know what? Why not add John Daly to the team and just have him be Scotty Scheffler's
his son's playing.
Right.
In college, right?
Yeah, his son and Charlie Woods, I think I've seen them playing together.
No, wow.
So love it. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you have thoughts on the Titans, again, we are about 30 minutes away from waiver claims being processed in the NFL. Titans have the top waiver priority. We'll see how many times they elect to use it. We'll quickly transition over to college football because, man, do we have a great weekend of college football coming up. We've got games
on News 2
tomorrow. On News 2, correct. On ABC, you've got Clemson and LSU, the nightcap on Saturday. Also Tennessee, Syracuse on Saturday.
Miami, Notre Dame on Sunday night.
Notre Dame on Sunday night. Virginia Tech, South Carolina on Sunday afternoon. So plenty of games on News 2. 3 top 10 matchups. We will talk about all the great college football coming up this weekend after this. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. This week's Nashville's best deal is for Homegrown Tap Room and Kitchen in Donaldson. Homegrown Tap Room and Kitchen, a beloved neighborhood hub featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives, offers a gourmet twist on comfort food, and you can enjoy one of their 24 taps of craft beer selections, wine, and unique canned cocktails. Get half off a $100 gift card now at thegamenashville.com while supplies last. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. We are 30 minutes away from waiver claims being processed across the NFL. We will give you those updates when we get them. From Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, he just put out about 5 minutes ago, expect cornerback to loom large with today's waiver wire claims. Titans and Browns are 1 and 2. They're looking for depth there, among others. Juju Brents, Damari Mathis, Jalen Armour-Davis, and Beanie Bishop among notable options. So I would expect the Titans will claim one of those players.
If not two.
Yep. And probably a couple of others at other spots, maybe at edge, maybe at inside linebacker. They already brought in Shy Tuttle at defensive tackle. So I would think that you would probably see at least 3, could be more, from the Titans when the waiver claims come down. Another update from Justin Mello. Defensive tackle Carlos Watkins is expected to be added to the practice squad once the window opens.
I put out my guess at the 53, I don't know, about a week ago or so. Or no, not even a week ago. It was after the Falcon or the Vikings game. And Watkins, I was weighing Watkins or Horn, and I thought Watkins had showed up more.
Yep.
And so I took Watkins over Horn. So that was one that was mildly surprising to me. I also think it might be good news for Horn that he's not going to be cut.
Yeah, it's a good point. And Cam Horsley also added to the practice squad.
Even better news for Horn.
Right. Like, I don't know if you add both those guys if you're planning on cutting Timmy Horn and adding him to the practice squad. Yeah. So we'll see if the Titans end up moving on from Timmy Horn, or if they keep 6 defensive tackles now that Shy Tuttle has been added to the roster.
Well, again, Devondre Sweat coming off of the tonsil surgery. I think you got to give him a month to get fully up to speed. I think they need an extra guy,
especially for the Denver game where air is thin, probably not going to be at top conditioning shape. I don't think we're going to see 40 snaps from Devondre Sweat in week 1. I think it probably will be more pick and choose your spots where you can get him in.
You'll see a lot of James Lynch.
Yep.
And he's played well for this team.
He did. He forced that interception from James Williams.
He played well last year.
Yes.
So he's been a good addition to this team.
Titans will make their waiver claims coming up here. Sonny on our text line asking, how does the waiver process work? Do they get to pick up as many waiver claims as they want before it goes to the second team, or do they pick one, cycle through, and then pick again? We talked about this earlier, that it is not like fantasy football.
Yep.
There's
no snake.
The Titans could claim 53 guys off the waiver wire, and they would get every single one of them. They would have to cut the rest of their team, but they could do that if they wanted to. And the Browns, who picked second, could not get any of those players. So if the Titans claim 4, they will get all 4. Mm-hmm. It's not like fantasy football where you cycle back to the bottom after you get your first player.
Yeah, and it's like the draft where, hey, this is the year you're picking first. So you're really hoping that guy is there. And this is the year they're first on the waiver wire. They're really hoping that some decent football players shake free.
Yep.
Because, there are years where you're like, man, we really just need one guy, and the team before us picked him, or 2 teams before us picked him up, and you just can't get it. You can't get them because they don't get to you.
Yep.
Those guys are there, just are the right players there this year.
Having the number 1 waiver claim isn't going to bring you star players. Like, you have to set reasonable expectations, but it can significantly improve your depth, because when you're a team that's picking first, odds are your 49 through 53 probably aren't as good as the Philadelphia Eagles 54 through 58.
Well, Darrell Baker was a waiver wire pickup last year,
right?
And he wound up being a starter at the end of the season. That doesn't happen all that much, but that was a good waiver wire pickup for this team. He's still with them right now.
Ali Gay was waiver pickup last year too, and he made it through. I mean, he was on the team through the preseason. He was cut yesterday. So we'll see. Titans about 20 minutes away. We will find out who they have added to their 53-man roster. But it is the first full weekend of college football. We have 5 days of college football in a row, starting tomorrow night. Couple of decent games tomorrow. I believe Cincinnati, Nebraska in Arrowhead Stadium is one of the highlights tomorrow night. Not a great game. On Friday, you get Auburn and Baylor, which I know there's some issues if you have YouTube TV and Fox. They're battling right now, which
it's not a coincidence, by the way.
Right. I wonder if they're leveraging having a top 3 matchup on Saturday.
They always leverage the football season for
Right.
these negotiations. So yeah.
Well,
the interesting thing about Nebraska, Cincinnati, that's old school Big 12 versus new school Big 12.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, former Big 12 Nebraska, Cincinnati now in the Big 12, and no overlap there after Nebraska left for the Big 10. So, I mean, again, the Thursday and Friday games aren't going to be great. I believe Colorado plays Friday night.
Yeah,
so you'll get
their appetizers.
Yeah, you'll get.
I think Illinois plays Friday night as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a couple of half decent games on Thursday and Friday, but then Saturday you get Texas, Georgia in the shoe.
Alabama, Florida State
at 2:30.
Texas, Ohio State.
Oh yeah, sorry. I keep saying Texas, Georgia. Texas, Ohio State. In the Horseshoe at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Also have Syracuse, Tennessee at the same time. So that might be a double screen kind of morning to early afternoon.
No, you only need to watch Tennessee and Syracuse. It's on News 2.
Right, that's true. That's on News 2. And
that's all you need.
I mean, honestly.
And by the way, there's a pregame show at 10:30 on News 2.
There you go. Tune in. 10:30 on News 2. And honestly, you might not have to change the channel because the game's on News 2 all day. Tennessee, Syracuse, Alabama, Florida State, LSU, Clemson in the nightcap, which I think that's the game I'm most excited to watch.
So much intrigue with I mean, even with Alabama, Florida State, you want to know if Kalen DeBoer is going to get Alabama right.
And Thomas Castellanos has talked his talk, the quarterback for Florida State, formerly of Boston College, saying that they're going to beat Alabama.
New Diego Pavia.
We will see.
Yeah.
We will see if I think Alabama. Again, I don't know if Kalen DeBoer is the guy. It's tough to follow Nick Saban.
Kalen DeBoer's track record says he's going to win and win big.
Yep.
All right. Now, last year did not go well for a variety of reasons, but I think it's way too soon to write off a guy who's done nothing but win.
And I think there might be a little revenge tour going on through Alabama. I think they realize that people have kind of written them off a little bit.
Sure.
I think they are going to come back with a vengeance starting on Saturday against Florida State.
They've still got some good football players.
They do. It's funny. Even when Nick Saban leaves, 5-stars still want to go to Alabama. There must be something going on down there. Clemson, LSU in the night game.
Yeah, it's another one.
Cade Klubnik versus Garrett Nussmeier.
Yep.
I won't be. I'll be over at Vandy for the Commodores in Charleston Southern, but
Woo.
I will be keeping track of that game for sure.
Well, I mean, that game, because you're wondering, can Dabo get Clemson back into the conversation? Because if he can't this year with Klubnik, he could be in trouble. And then the other thing is the winner of this game, the quarterback who wins, does the quarterback who wins this game take the lead in the Heisman race?
I think early, unless Arch Manning goes into Columbus and lights up Ohio State.
Yes,
or if, on the other side, if Jeremiah Smith goes for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns against Texas.
Yeah, so you've got 4 Heisman winners going head, or Heisman candidates going head to head in week 1. And they're going to be able to put that foot forward and say, watch me the rest of the year, or they're going to have some work to do.
And then on Sunday and Monday, I got to say, the schedulers did a good job of finding good games with storylines, because although I don't think Virginia Tech keeps it within 2 scores, being a Hokie, I think South Carolina pulls away.
But it's the Beamer Bowl.
But it's Shane Beamer against his alma mater, where his dad, spent 30 years.
And people want to watch Lenora Sellers.
Right.
They
and
do.
Lenora Sellers is a Heisman candidate. And then you got Catholics versus convicts.
Yeah.
Miami, Notre Dame coming up at night. Top 10 matchup. Another great one. And then on Monday, Bill Belichick's debut.
Wow.
UNC Texas Christian, TCU.
Wow.
So,
what I'm fascinated with in that Notre Dame Miami game is Marcus Freeman, who can coach defense.
Yeah.
Going against the quarterback from Georgia, Carson Beck, who I think is not good. I think we don't know what these teams have got.
Yeah.
All right. Because, Notre Dame was very good last year. And if they're close to what they were last year, I think Miami's in some trouble.
Yep. You get to watch Jeremiah Love too, another Heisman favorite in prime time.
He's really good.
So
he's really good.
You're going to see all the stars out shining in week 1, 3 top 10 matchups, plenty of storylines. I can't wait. College football, it'll officially be back. And then once you get through Labor Day weekend, you got Saturdays and Sundays for the foreseeable future with college football in the NFL.
Here's the other great thing. We can enjoy all these games without mourning the season being over for the losers.
Right.
Which always happened to us before. Oh, well, Clemson lost to LSU in the opener. Their season's done.
Yep.
Oh, well, Texas lost at Ohio State. They can't play for the national championship. I mean, it was silly. It was silly that that's the way it was, but that's the way it was. But we can actually enjoy these games, and you can play well and lose and still be like, okay, we're still right there.
Right. The 4-team playoff, if Clemson lost to LSU at home, you would say, all right, they've got to win out and win the ACC to have any shot to make the playoff.
Their game against Notre Dame would be just a must-win game.
Right. Like if you go 10-2, that doesn't get you into a 14 playoff.
No, not from the ACC.
Clemson, this one, they're kind of playing with house money because I don't really see a whole lot of other teams in the ACC that will challenge them.
Sometimes 12-0 doesn't get you into the playoffs from the ACC.
As the Florida State Seminoles found out. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you have any thoughts on the Titans college football, you can text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll wrap up hour number 2 after this. And again, Titans waiver claim should be announced within the next 20 minutes or so. We will let you know who is coming in and maybe who is coming out in the final hour of the show. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Finishing up the second hour here on Next Man Up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Titans waiver claims likely about 10 minutes away from being announced, and we will keep you updated as the Titans churn the back end of their roster once again after setting their initial 53 yesterday. News from Adam Schefter. This was about 7 minutes ago. And let me make sure this is the real Adam Schefter. It is 11.5 million followers. The NFL is aiming for at least a potential 6-game suspension for Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Sources tell ESPN the suspension would kick in at the start of the season. So I believe I saw a couple weeks ago they said that he at least would play the first 4 games, but maybe the NFL is changing their tune on that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I know there's always complaints about like NFL punishment differing from law enforcement. The only thing I'm going to tell you is this: the NFL knows.
Oh yeah,
they know what's going on.
Yep.
They know you may not get charged with this, you may not have done this, or legally be. They know what you did, and they're going to hold you accountable.
Yep.
For what you did. At least usually they are. I mean, the Ray Rice thing was ridiculous when it started with a 2-game suspension.
Right.
And I think they've learned from that. And you know, I'm always one that you shouldn't lose your job forever, when you make a mistake. But, I also think you need to be held accountable when you put people's lives in danger. And you can't just tell them, slap on the wrist, you were going 110 or whatever it was he was doing. Yeah, just don't do it again. No, you could kill multiple people. I mean,
right.
Remember Dwayne Goodrich from Tennessee, the Dallas Cowboys?
I don't think I do.
Yeah, I mean he was involved in a wreck,
right?
Driving really killed. We killed a man. I mean,
I meant Henry Ruggs obviously is the most recent one where it's
just
like
horrific. The car exploded,
and he's been in jail, and I think the more they can hold these players accountable for doing it, that you dissuade other people from making those.
Yeah, it's people.
Right.
Everyone needs to be held accountable. I mean, when I see Yahoos driving 100 miles an hour on 65, that is not safe. So, like you're saying, if you're a player, you're a role model,
right?
Whether you like it or not,
and it reflects on the team in the NFL, and they want to nip that in the bud as fast as they possibly can.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Rashee Rice looking like could face a 6-game suspension to start the season. Chiefs' first 6 games of the year: Chargers, Eagles, Giants, Ravens, Jaguars, Lions. So 4 of the 6 teams are playoff teams, including a Super Bowl rematch in week 2. Titans waiver claims about 10 minutes away. And hopefully when we come back from this next break, we'll have some news for you. I think if I have to make a final guess, I'm going to say they claim 4 guys. I'll go 2 at corner, 1 at edge, 1 inside linebacker.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 is the number. It's how many they like.
Right.
And we'll have to wait and see on that. But I lean towards 2 corners because I think the selection is pretty good.
It seems like there are some names out there that maybe weren't expected to get cut loose.
Yeah, well, and it's like, we always think we can connect the dots, and it never really works out that way. I mean, they wind up selecting no corners.
Right.
But that I did want to bring up, I mean, we haven't talked about it. There is a shooting going on in Minneapolis where there's at least 2 people dead, and it does involve a school. It's all over, the network news is if you want to keep up just the latest of horrific incidences involving violence in places where, as a parent, it's tough to hear always. It's tough to hear always. So, you can keep up with that on your national news source of choice.
Yes. If you want to keep up with that, national news, social media, I'm sure there'll be more updates. But yes, prayers out to everyone involved in that shooting up in Minneapolis, hoping that we don't hear any more bad news from up there.
Yep.
So appreciate you bringing that up. And again, if you want to keep track of that, make sure to check in with your news or social media. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis with you here on this Wednesday. We will take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll hopefully have some news for you on the Titans roster as waiver claims come down in the next 5 minutes or so. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, Next Man Up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 1025, the game final hour on this Wednesday. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly with you. It is 11 a.m., and we will update you as soon as the waiver claim news comes out. Titans have top waiver priority across the NFL, likely going to shuffle the back end of their initial 53, which came out yesterday. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We'd love to hear from you. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. So waiver claims are being processed as we speak across the NFL, and I'm sure we are moments away from hearing who the Titans have claimed. I said 4. I think you're going to get 2 corners, an edge rusher, and an inside linebacker. The other positions where I think it's possible that you see a waiver claim for the Titans, running back, although with Jordan Mims and Jamar Jefferson likely headed to the practice squad, I think it's unlikely you see a running back claimed. Quarterback is a long shot, but if there is somebody out there that they like better than Brandon Allen, maybe. And, anything else at skill position on the offensive side, maybe there's a wide receiver or a tight end, but I would say unlikely. I think almost all of the waiver claims you're going to see are going to come on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I would think so, because I would be surprised if there was an offensive line claim. I would be surprised if there was a tight end claim. I mean, I know Dulcich from the Giants is a popular guy now because everybody saw him score a couple of touchdowns. But David Martin Robinson's a core special teams player. And, I like Chig more than I like Dulcich. So I doubt that. And then, I guess if you want to bring in a receiver to return punts, but you're not cutting any of your receivers.
Yeah.
Of the 6 you've got.
Right. Those 6 are staying. And you mentioned offensive line. It's like you keep 11, you're probably not swapping any of those guys
you
out.
Kept those guys for a reason.
Right.
So, I mean, if you didn't like them, you would have cut them, but you kept 11 because you're like, we really want to hold on to
right.
This guy.
We don't want these guys getting claimed.
So yeah. And look, in the league, there's not a lot of depth out there on the offensive line.
Yeah.
So that's why they protected those guys, because they know everybody's desperate for offensive linemen, and they may view that the Titans the only undrafted free agent they kept was an offensive tackle.
Yep.
And so if other teams saw that, they may have gotten word. It's like with David Martin Robinson last year. They knew other teams were going to sign him if they cut him. They couldn't get him through to the practice squad.
Right.
And, maybe that's the way they feel about Crenshaw as well, is, if we cut him on cutdown day, he's going to get claimed, and we don't want him to get claimed.
Right. Most of the activity on the waiver wire is going to come today, because we talked about how the conversations go with these guys that make the initial 53, but are likely going to be waiver casualties the next day. It's like, you don't want to keep these guys in limbo of like, all right, you made the roster, but 2 days later, Brandon Crenshaw Dixon gets released, and it's like, all right, now we're going to pick him up. I think the Titans, it's a smart move to just hold them off for 24 hours and see if you can sneak them through to the practice squad. The Ravens stealing the show at 11 a.m. Central Time when waiver claims are supposed to come out. The Ravens have signed Kyle Hamilton to a 4-year, $100 million extension.
I'm guessing that is the biggest deal ever for a safety.
It is, making him the NFL's highest paid safety by a lot. The next closest, Kirby Joseph at $21.25 million per year. Kyle Hamilton getting $25.1 million per year. So the Ravens, I think the Ravens do the best job in the draft of just taking the sure things. It's like all these other teams are like, we're not going to take Tyler Linderbaum. We can get a center somewhere else. We're not going to take Kyle Hamilton. We can get a safety somewhere else. And like, Ravens are like, we'll take both those guys.
Yeah.
And
every year the draft comes and goes, and you look at the Ravens and you're like, how did they get all these guys?
Yeah. Every year it's like they took the guys that everybody says that guy is going to be an all-pro, but maybe it's not at a premium position. Yeah. They took another safety this year. Was it Jahdae Barron? No.
I don't know. Who took the kid? Seahawks took the kid from South Carolina, right?
Yes, they took Eamon Worry. That was the pick the Titans had. Malachi Starks. That's who they took out of Georgia.
That's right.
It's like Malachi Starks. Yeah, he's a safety, but he's the best safety out there. Mm-hmm. And we talk about how Denard Wilson came from the Ravens and he wants to use the 3 safety sets, and that's maybe what we could see with Kevin Winston once he gets healthy. The Ravens keep loading up at safety, and Kyle Hamilton will now be in Baltimore through the 2030 season.
Yeah, there's something to be said, where GMs just find the best players that they can, and then you go out and you play with them. I always talk about, like, there are teams that passed up on Adrian Peterson because they had a running back. I don't think that's the way you should draft.
Yeah.
I really think you should find the best players that you can get, and then you go out, and if you have depth at a position, that's great. If not, you have a tradable asset, and that's
right.
good as well. And I think the Ravens are wonderful, a wonderful example, of being the type of organization that the Titans now say they aspire to be. The Packers as well, where you draft and then you develop. And, the Packers, they've had people screaming at them to draft a wide receiver in the first round forever, but all they ever did was draft the best players on their board.
Right. Every team talks about how we go best player available, but the Ravens are the ones who actually practice what they preach and actually do take the best player available pretty much regardless of position, and it's worked out for them.
Do we believe that Femi was the best player available in the second round?
Nope.
I mean, I think they think his ceiling is high.
Right.
And so they took him based on ceiling and what he can be, but not best player available.
Yeah. I mean, you took Femi Oladejo off of the traits that you think you can coach into a really good pass rusher because he is central casting. It's like, that's the dude you want to walk off the bus first.
Sure.
Like Femi is a guy
who looks like Terry Tate office linebacker.
Right. You see that guy and you're like, yeah, that guy plays in the NFL. Yeah. There's no question about it.
Even the kicker looks like that.
Joey Sly. Yeah. Joey Sly does not look like a kicker.
Nope.
He does not.
Like a bouncer.
Speaking of which, you mentioned Joey Sly off the air earlier. What a night for Joey on Friday. Making a 63-yard field goal and the double doink that hit off the very top of the upright.
From 53 yards to hit the top of the upright is staggering to me.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, I just, because he looks like, that football game you used to play where you bang the guy in the head and the leg comes forward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Rock'em Sock'em Robots or whatever.
But it was you just kick field
goals
all day. I remember playing that with my brother. But that's kind of what he looks like. He doesn't look like, the smaller guys with the whippy leg. I mean, he's just beefy.
Yep.
And he just drills it.
And with Joey Sly, it's going to be different than with Nick Folk. Like, I think Joey Sly, you can pretty much guarantee he's going to miss a handful of field goals from inside 45 this year. But he's probably going to make a handful from 55 plus.
Well,
and
yes,
you got to take the good with the bad.
Here's the thing that the Titans were looking at and what they want with Sly. The moment they get to the 45-yard line, they know they've got 3 points.
Right. You're in striking distance
for 3 points. And it changes the way they attack and call the game. And so that is the way they're playing this year, is they know, all right, once we get 45, we've got at least 3 points. We've got to play from that point of view, that we've got a legitimate shot at 3 points. And it, where last year you're like, okay, get to the 33.
Yeah. Get inside of 50 and you feel okay.
Yeah. I mean, look, Nick was good from 50, from the early 50s last year.
Yeah.
But I don't think you count on that.
Right.
Especially with him he's in his 40s now. So we'll see if Joey Sly works out. I think this is a year to do it, because, again, nobody's expecting the Titans to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think Joey Sly is going to be kicking from the Arrowhead to try and beat the Chiefs this year.
But if he is, you find out if he's the guy or not.
Right. So it made sense. Titans changed philosophies with special teams this year and brought in Joey Sly. But what a night for him on Friday. Not official because it was a preseason game, but the longest field goal in Nissan Stadium history, passing Rob Baronis, who made one from 60. Still waiting on waiver claim news. Did just see a signing, though. Marquez Valdez-Scantling has signed with the 49ers.
Oh,
they are working through a lot of injuries in that receiver room, so they bring in another veteran there. We are waiting to see who.
He wasn't good yesterday. He wasn't good the day before, and he wasn't good the day before that.
He has had his moments with the Packers, but outside of that, it has not been great. He was with the Chiefs most recently, I want to say. Maybe.
Yeah.
It looks like he was down to the Steelers and the 49ers. So, also he was with the Seahawks. That's where he was in this preseason. So
It was his brother was with the Bears,
yes, I think that sounds
and he
right.
was also not good.
Yes. So Marquez Valdez-Scantling is signing with the 49ers, waiting on the Titans waiver claims. They were supposed to process 10 minutes ago. I'm assuming they're working through that and making an announcement as we speak. So we will take a break. Might have some news for you when we come back. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you here on Next Man Up, 102.5 The Game. Vanderbilt football begins the season this Saturday at home against Charleston Southern. Catch all the action on 102.5 The Game. The pregame show starts at 4:30, kickoff at 6 o'clock. Coverage so available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. as we wait for Titans waiver claims to come down. We do have a tweet from Paul Karski at paulkarski.com. Some guys that Blake Bedingfield would have considered claiming for the Titans.
And there's a name on there that we haven't talked about that is absolutely one that I would have looked at.
Isaiah Simmons?
No, Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, okay. Yes, I did see some Rams fans were a little shocked to see that Chris Paul Jr., the inside linebacker, not the point guard, or I believe there's a guard, an NFL offensive guard named Chris Paul too. Different Chris Paul, inside linebacker for the Rams was listed, along with Juju Brents, Antoine Powell-Ryland, who we've talked about, and a couple of defensive linemen. The Isaiah Simmons one, I get it. Like, dude's talented, but isn't James Williams kind of what Isaiah Simmons is? Probably. Of like safety turn linebacker who's going to do a lot of the same things. So I wouldn't mind bringing in Chris Paul, though.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, I think they need, if they wanted to bring either one of them in, I think they need inside linebacker depth. Okay, so that's my opinion. And so I would be good with bringing either one of those guys in, either as a replacement or as an add-on to what they've got. Because I kind of like having 5 there. That's me right now. They're at 4.
Yes, Curtis Jacobs is the 4th there, and you think he could be a placeholder. I think you can guarantee the Titans are making at least 2 waiver claims because they kept 2 extra tackles for almost no reason other than to cycle them through a little bit later. So I would guess we're going to get 2, and then the other ones, Curtis Jacobs would be on the bubble, Gabe Jeudy-Lally. So
I think we have to put Jalen Harrell on the bubble.
Jalen Harrell would be on the bubble, and then we talked about it. I think Timmy Horn is looking safer and safer as some of these moves with the practice squad come down, but he would also be in that bubble kind of group. More news as we're getting all of the roster news except for waiver claims right now. Kendrick Bourne has been released from the New England
Bourne
Patriots.
Identity.
So Kendrick Bourne, veteran pass catcher.
Really mediocre.
Yeah, he's fine. And I know there's going to be some Titans fans out there who say they want to bring him in. The Titans, I think, have had plenty of opportunities to go get a veteran wide receiver. Like Tim Patrick was just traded this morning.
Cooper was out there.
Amari Cooper's been out there. I think the Titans don't want to block Alec Iamaner and Chim Dike.
No,
if
not
they don't
for
have
Kendrick Bourne.
Right.
I mean, look, Mike Vrabel didn't want Kendrick Bourne.
Yes. Mike Vrabel just cut Kendrick Bourne. I don't see the Titans having any interest there.
No.
And at wide receiver, we've talked about the 6 wide receivers they kept yesterday for like 2 months as those are the 6 wide receivers. They're not going to keep 7, clearly, because they didn't take James Prochet. So I think there's no reason for them to bring in a veteran wide receiver because all you're doing is adding more of a logjam in front of your 2 young guys who you want to get a read on this season.
Well, there's another guy that's out there. And again, I wouldn't expect them to sign him either, but he's played some special teams and he's a guy that Mike Borgonzi knows, Mecole Hardman.
Right.
I think he got waived yesterday.
Yes.
So, again, he's played in Super Bowls. Mike Borgonzi knows him. I don't know if he's returned punts before. I think he's returned kicks.
He has. And he's only really been good in Kansas City. It feels like every time he leaves Kansas City, he can loses run. The magic.
That's one thing. He can run. He is very fast.
And you do need some of that. Like Chim Dike's got speed, but outside of that, like Ridley's fast, but he's not take the top off the defense. Like
he's pretty fast.
No, he's fast, but I'm saying like he's not known as like your burner. He's more of a complete receiver than that.
Well, he's known as a very good route runner, but
right.
Yeah, he's really fast.
I think you could add some speed, but again, a wide receiver.
You never have enough speed.
No. And the one thing you can say about the Titans receiver room is it is faster than it's been in the past.
I mean, absolutely.
The days of Cody Hollister being on the field are over.
Well, I mean, even last year with DeAndre Hopkins and Tyler Boyd,
right?
They were not running at peak speed in their careers.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have. I mean, even Alec Iamaner's a 4.4 guy.
Yeah, no, I mean there is way more speed, and Brian Callahan has said as much that was one of their goals was to add speed to this team and this wide receiver room.
Yeah, and you'll hear that every year, but last year they really, I mean that was a glaring need. The field was smaller for them because they lacked so much speed.
I'm looking for any waiver claims. There's a fake account that almost got me to read that over the air, but a fake account reported Juju Brents was claimed by the Titans, but
It almost got you,
They had
huh?
15 followers. I almost read it out like it was breaking news, but
there was one guy who like added an extra P to Rappaport who got me once.
yeah, it's it is hard with the blue checks not being actually reliable anymore.
Well, I refuse to pay for it, so I don't.
Right, me neither. I will not pay for Twitter, but yes, the blue checks not being accurate anymore makes it a little bit tough. Titans have the number one waiver priority. I have to say, I did not think it would take 20 minutes for them to announce these, because once it's processed, it shouldn't really take too long to announce these. But hopefully we'll have some news about the Titans coming up. Did want to touch on a story, and thank you to Matthew in Nashville on our text line. He's been texting all these different news stories that have come in. Tom Brady, this was announced earlier today.
If this is about him being engaged, I'm going to be really unhappy.
He's not engaged. We're not having two engagement stories in one day. Tom Brady, despite being a part owner of the Raiders, is now being allowed in production meetings ahead of broadcasts.
That is so wrong.
It's horrible.
It's so, as a person who's been in those production meetings, that is so wrong.
And you wonder if teams are going to be a little bit more,
I wouldn't tell him anything.
Right. Why would you?
Are you kidding me?
He is an owner with a legitimate stake in an NFL team.
Look, he should only be calling Raider games.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate Tom Brady. I'm just saying I've been in those meetings. I've been in the broadcast booth. No, it's not okay. It's not okay.
He made the decision to buy part of the Raiders.
And by the way, he's not just a silent owner.
No, he's a
part of the process.
Right. And this, I really just never understood why. I mean, I get it. He's Tom Brady, and Fox, you're going to pay him just for Tom Brady. But it's like,
but the league allowing it is what
right. And you're throwing him in the booth with absolutely no information if he's not in these production meetings. But now it's the question of like the integrity of, man, you're letting an owner of a team
have one-on-one
talk with players and coaches from every other team in the league.
Yeah. I mean, and number one, you could talk about collusion. He's getting background information on players, possibly talking about things they shouldn't be talking about.
Yeah.
So there's that as well. But again, I mean, is he allowed because generally these guys show up a day or two early and they go to a practice. Is he allowed on the practice field?
He shouldn't be.
No.
Yeah, you're right. Usually the broadcast crews for a Sunday game, I would guess they come in on Friday. They watch Friday practice and then production meeting Saturday, and you get ready to go on Sunday. Like having a part owner of a team, like what are the Chiefs going to do when inevitably he calls one of their games?
Yeah.
Like,
no.
We play your team twice a year. We're not telling you anything.
I mean, I would say you can sit in the room. We're not going to say anything.
Right.
Well, here's our inactives. All right, there you go.
I think it hurt him as a broadcaster to not be able to be in the rooms, because it's like,
well, yeah,
part of what you watch these broadcasts for is to hear some of that stuff of the coach told me this and the player told me this.
Look, I can tell you from experience that a lot of the stuff that you hear in those broadcasts comes straight out of that meeting, because they don't know otherwise.
Right.
I mean, they're doing a different game every week. They don't know. All right. And so they get nuggets dropped during the game. I mean, the week of the game. They say, hey, tell me about this guy. And that's, you when you hear the guy, well, how does he know about his, great uncle Leo and how he was coming up with the Falcon? I mean, because that's, the sports information people give that to them.
Right.
But the coaches give them some of that stuff. And it's valuable time. It's valuable time. You generally hear how they, unless it's Mike Vrabel, you generally hear how they really feel about people.
Yeah.
And so I can't imagine any NFL team, let alone an AFC West rival, would be cool with him being in the room and giving him that kind of access.
I'm not really sure how it got to this point. Like it seemed like it wasn't ideal that he wasn't in the room, but that felt like the only solution. Now that he is going to be allowed to participate in these meetings,
those meetings are going to suck.
They're going to, Kevin Burkhardt's not going to be getting very much from those meetings anymore.
It'll be like all of our meetings with Rabel.
Yeah, it's like you can ask the questions. We're not going to tell you anything. And I mean, I guess the good news is that they're going to be calling 90% Cowboys games probably. So, maybe Jerry won't care quite as much if they tell Tom Brady something. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you have thoughts, Titans going to make some waiver claims here. We are about 30 minutes past the top of the hour. We are waiting on an announcement for who the Titans have added to their 53-man roster. We will give you that news when we get it. Also, we mentioned the Rashee Rice that the NFL was aiming for a 6-game suspension. They have now accepted a 6-game suspension. So Rashee Rice will not play for the first 6 games
I have
of
a
the
fantasy
season.
draft tonight, and I'm really glad that came out
Yes,
today.
I have not had a fantasy draft yet, so I'm very glad that I did not have to decide that before we found out this news. So Rashee Rice out until week 7 against the Raiders. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. As Terry McCormick so nicely puts on X, waiver claims are being processed now. Titans are first in line. Why can't they just text Roger Goodell the names of the guys they want and announce it? Seems simple enough. It is 11:27.
I told you it would not happen that way.
I thought it was going to happen almost immediately, but
nope.
We will wait and maybe get some news coming up here before the end of the show. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly here on Next Man Up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 1025, The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly with you for a couple more segments. Chasing Big Joe coming up at the top of the hour. I thought we were going to get some time here to react to the Titans waiver claims, but it might end up slipping into Chasing Big Joe's show. We still have not heard who the Titans claimed. Again, the Titans have the number one waiver wire priority. And
Operation Secret Squirrel.
yes, it is very top secret right now who the Titans claimed. And again, as we've mentioned a couple times throughout the show, this isn't like fantasy football. Whoever the Titans claim they've got. So at least that part should be easy. Maybe the rest of the league's hard. Can the Titans just announce theirs? Like, can they just throw that out there and say, hey, we claim these guys. We got all of them.
I mean, they could claim whatever. I mean, they could text out whatever they want.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't have to be true, but they could text it out.
We're waiting on the Jim Wyatt article letting us know.
Look, I know this. The Titans will not release any information before it goes through the league office and is rubber stamped. Boom, done,
right.
Official. They are not going to put out anything before it's official.
No, for sure. And I'm
not saying they're wrong for that, but I'm just saying that I know that's the way it is done.
Now that we've gotten past the bottom of the hour, I'm starting to think maybe we won't get these claims until noon. So again, keep it tuned right here. If it's not us reacting, it'll be Chasing Big Joe. Again, Titans expected to make multiple waiver claims as they have the top priority. And Mike Borgonzi going to speak to the media tomorrow right around 10 a.m. So you can listen to that right here on the show. We will carry that live tomorrow as he talks about cutting the roster down to 53 and the subsequent waiver claims that are made. We did mention Kendrick Bourne was released by the Patriots. And Corey, you were going through their receiver room. Mike Vrabel has never really been one to put a whole lot of high priority on wide receiver. And it seems like he's carried that over to New England. They had some names that I have never heard of that have made their wide receiver room. They do have Stephon Diggs there. They do have Kyle Williams, who was a former Cam Ward teammate at Washington State.
How much does Diggs have left?
Not a lot.
I mean, he's your one.
I think he'd rather be on a boat.
So we've heard of Kayshon Boutte.
Right, who was very talented guy out of LSU, just really hasn't channeled that all that well.
Yeah, Racey McMath was a talented guy at LSU too.
Correct.
Pop Douglas. It's a name we've all heard before, but maybe not in an NFL game.
Right.
But we heard coming in. Mac Hollins, who we've seen make plays in the NFL, but is it largely a special teams player?
Against the Titans with the Raiders, he had himself a day a couple of years ago.
Yeah. But again, this is not a 1, 2, or a 3.
Right.
Kyle Williams.
3rd round pick. Solid player
from
Washington State.
Yeah, that's a player that a lot of Titans fans,
right? Former teammate of Cam Ward.
So that's a guy. He's a developmental piece. We'll see what he's got there. So we won't condemn that one. Eftim Chisholm III, which I find it interesting that there were Eftim Chisholms the 1st and 2nd. But this is Eftim Chisholm the 3rd,
a family name.
Yeah, well, I hope so, because if somebody just tags the 3rd on the end of their name, that's weird.
Yep.
And Javon Baker.
Javon Baker, who, again, kind of a trendy name out of UCF last year, hasn't really made some plays. We do have waiver claims. They came down. 4 players have been claimed by the Titans. We do not have all the names quite yet. We do have 1.
Okay.
The Titans have claimed cornerback Jalen Armour Davis from Baltimore. So a guy we talked about, familiar with Denard Wilson.
Sure.
Makes a lot of sense. And we said corner was going to be one of the big spots the Titans go after. I said 4 total. That is how many the Titans claim. The Titans claimed 4 players off waivers.
They did, but you could say 5.
Right, with Shai Tuttle
last night.
So there will be 5 new players who are not on the initial 53 that will be on the Titans roster. One of them will be Jalen Armour Davis, the cornerback from Baltimore. Honestly, would it surprise you if they claimed Armour Davis and Juju Brents?
No, we talked about that. We talked about that they could take 2 corners, and we expect Gabe Jeudy-Lally to go down to the practice squad, and then you could have 5 and 6 corners if you wanted. Now, again, Mike Borgonzi has put a major value on availability. So if he may look at Juju Brents and just say, like the player, don't like the injury history, don't want to burn a roster spot on a guy that we don't trust. Paul Kaharski tweeting out the Titans have claimed 4 players in all
Yes. Paul Kaharski has the Jalen Armour-Davis news, too.
Okay.
I believe he's the only one I've seen that has put that out. Teron Davenport also putting out Titans have claimed 4 players, names coming soon. So we do know it's 4. The corresponding moves is what they're working out now. I think you can make the assumption that Gabe Judy-Lally probably is going to be released or waived, and they'd probably like him back on the practice squad. Jalen Armour-Davis would take his spot. I think 2 of your 3 tackles that you kept at the bottom of the roster are probably going to be waived as well. So Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, John Ojukwu, I'd make the guess would probably be.
Yeah, it's you're looking at Ojukwu, Udo.
Ali Udo. Who do they worry about losing more? And Ali Udo would not go through waivers.
Udo came in when Moore went down. In Atlanta.
And he was starting in place of J.C. Latham against Minnesota last week.
And that's on the right side. So that's both sides. So that tells you he's your number 1 swing tackle.
I would think Ali Udo is safe.
Yes.
They keep 9 offensive linemen, and you see Ojukwu, Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, Gabe Judy-Lally get released, and then it kind of just depends.
They get picked up.
So you'd have to release 2 other guys. I think it would be 2 of these 3 between Timmy Horn, Jalen Harrell, Curtis Jacobs. And there you go. You would have your 53. Titans have claimed 4 players. Jalen Armour-Davis from Baltimore is one of them. And I know he's had some injury issues. I believe he's coming out of Alabama, which is Alabama defensive backs. The Ravens love those kind of guys.
Alabama's put some people in the NFL the last few years.
Have they? It's
my deep research says they've had a few NFL players.
Jalen Armour-Davis has struggled to stay on the field. In his 3 seasons with Baltimore, he played 4 games as a rookie, 8 in his second year, 7 last year with 2 starts.
That makes him a very surprising signing then.
Right. He has not been able to stay on the field much. But again, this is a guy who's going to be your 5th or 6th corner. And he's long, 6'1", 200 pounds. You need outside corner help.
Yeah.
You feel good about the nickel spot because, like, Roger McCreary is your starting nickel. Jarvis Brownlee's played inside. Marcus Harris can play inside. Like, I think you feel okay about that.
I also think Kevin Winston can play some inside for you.
Yeah, he could be your big nickel if you need him to be. So I think Armour-Davis kind of fills a need as a depth outside cornerback. Maybe they add another one. The only player that we've seen is Jalen Armour-Davis.
Look, one's got to be an edge. All right.
We've got another one from Paul Kaharski.
Okay.
Another defensive back, Samuel Womack, has been claimed by the Tennessee Titans.
That's not a name that came up.
That's not a name I've seen. Samuel Womack, he has played 3 years with San Francisco and Indianapolis. He actually started 8 games last year for Indy, played all 17, had 2 interceptions, and 9 passes defended last year.
Okay.
So not a name you're familiar with, maybe. But
I'm not.
Former 5th-round pick out of Toledo, and he actually had a pretty good year last year. So the Titans do claim a cornerback who most recently spent time with Indianapolis, maybe not the one we were expecting, but 17 games played last year.
There you go.
8 starts, 2 interceptions.
What's his measurables?
He is 5'10", 189. So
he's a smaller guy.
So Titans have claimed 2 defensive backs, one
playing the inside, one plays the outside.
Inside, one outside. And
that's not surprising.
Yes. So there you go. We have 2 of the 4 waiver claims in. Jalen Armour-Davis and Samuel Womack have been claimed, both in the defensive backfield.
And we would both bet the pot that that one of the next 2 is going to be an edge
rusher, and then dealer's choice for the last one. It could be an inside linebacker. It could be an offensive player.
It could be 2 edges.
Right. You could go 2 on the edge where you are thin.
And maybe it's a quarterback.
Could be a quarterback.
We don't think it's going to be, but
right.
I mean, when Taylor Heineke's on the table, you can't do that.
Right. We were asked earlier what would be the most surprising move that realistically could happen today. It would be the Titans claiming a quarterback and cutting Brandon Allen. So we will see. We now have 2 of the 4 waiver claims that the Titans have made locked in. Samuel Womack, Jalen Armour-Davis have been claimed, both defensive backs, strengthening up the secondary. We will take a break. We'll see if Paul Kaharski of paulkaharski.com can get the other 2 while we're gone. One more segment coming up on this Wednesday. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Finishing up the show on this Wednesday, Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly with you. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Titans waiver claims are trickling in. We know that the Titans have claimed 4 players with their number one waiver priority. 2 of them have been announced, both defensive backs. Jalen Armour-Davis, the cornerback, 6'1" from the Ravens. Samuel Womack, 5'10", 189, coming over from the Colts. Womack did play outside last year.
I realize people are excited about this, and I know this is our job, but I mean, this is basically about being excited about what kind of donuts get thrown out in the day-old donuts.
Right. We make a big deal out of this because the Titans do have the number one waiver claim, and that helps you build depth. But
hey, there's a Boston cream in here. I haven't eaten today.
You really, really hope that neither of these guys see the field all that much.
Ever.
This is good because if one of these guys does hit and can turn into a good fourth cornerback, like Darryl Baker did.
Yes, if you get Darryl Baker, that is outstanding. But you know what? We really hope Darryl Baker never had to play last year, but he did because the 2 starters were hurt the whole year.
And this is important because we went through this with TD yesterday, and I said I found 46 guys that I think were worthy of making an NFL roster on this team. So in order to build out the depth and feel good if and when injuries do happen, you do need players like this, like a Jalen Armour-Davis.
And you got to keep churning.
Right.
Because, I mean, the Seahawks famously did this where they just went through tons of players when they were rebuilding under Pete Carroll. They would just bring player after player after player and just to see until they found some that worked. And, the Titans have to do a lot of that. They just have to, if your bodies aren't good enough, move on and find another one. And if that one's not good enough, move on. I mean, that's the cold-hearted nature of this business. And, we're talking about it at the end of the roster, but I mean, that's the way it goes for quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. Cam Ward's got like 2 years to prove he's the guy. Yep. If not, the Titans just have to say, move on. Will Levis got 1 year.
Yep.
He got 1 year, and it was move on. We got to go to the next one.
If you're a first-round pick, you likely get 2 years, unless it's just absolutely horrible.
Yep.
But if you're not a first-round pick, you got 1 year to prove it, and then the team has to go find somebody else.
And sometimes it's a week. All right. And I mean, seriously,
right.
Ramel Keaton, how long was he here? Not long.
Yeah. Maybe like 5 days.
Yeah. I mean, but again, and it's about taking a look and seeing what you got, because once in a while you do catch a Darryl Baker who winds up being a pretty good player. And sometimes it's fit. Sometimes it's fit for your defense, fit for your offense. And that guy just didn't fit at the other team. And so there's nothing wrong with that. And so, while I'm all about the process, forgive me if I'm not going to do cartwheels over the guys they claim from the waiver wire. I am not that on pins and needles about it. I'm intrigued by it. Okay.
Right.
I'm intrigued by it because, hope these guys work out, but I'd much rather see a UDFA come in, day one.
Right.
And you go, wow, that guy's a player. I mean, because that happens.
Because another team hasn't already given up on them already, which we actually have a third waiver claim.
Okay, here we go.
From the Minnesota Vikings. So the Titans got to see him last week.
All right.
Linebacker Dorian Mossy is coming in. He is 6'1", 234 pounds.
So inside linebacker.
I believe so.
No, he would not be an out. This team would not sign someone that size to play the outside.
He is an undrafted free agent this year out of Auburn. He spent 3 years at Duke before transferring to Auburn.
Okay.
He finished last season with Auburn with 81 tackles, 9 for loss, 2.5 sacks, and a forced fumble.
You wonder if he's a special teams player.
Yep.
But I said they needed depth at that spot. And just because they sign him, I don't think that automatically means Jacobs is gone.
Right.
Now, it very well could be, but I don't think it's automatic. They may want to keep 5. So we'll see.
I think that makes it pretty clear that the last waiver claim is going to be a pass rusher. You would hope.
It better be.
You would hope.
If not, Jalen Harrell needs to go buy a lottery ticket tonight.
Yes. Yeah. Jalen Harrell, if he's able to stick there as the 5th pass rusher.
And I don't hate Jalen Harrell.
No, me neither. But I think you can find somebody.
The team needs more.
Right.
They need more.
Like Jalen Harrell, and not specifically Antoine Powell-Ryland, but he's the name that's been brought up. Like Jalen Harrell was a 7th-round pick last year. Mm-hmm. I believe Antoine Powell-Ryland was a 5th-round pick this year. So it's like you got a guy who you've seen less of and was picked higher.
What's the upside?
Yes.
What's the upside?
And it looks like maybe we have our last one It's an offensive lineman.
Wow, that would be one of the least expected.
There's a chance this isn't a waiver claim.
Okay.
It might be a practice squad signing. This
Okay.
is from Chris Thomason of the Denver Gazette, saying offensive lineman Clay Webb, recently waived by the Broncos, is not going to their practice squad, going to the Tennessee Titans. So I'm not sure if that's the last waiver claim or
Okay.
not. It might be a Titans had an in with him and got him to come sign.
What year player is he? Is he a release or a waive?
I believe he is a waive. Yes. Guard, undrafted rookie out of Georgia and Jacksonville State.
Okay.
So
You know,
I don't know if that's a claim. I would think it's not a claim.
No, they've already got a rookie guard in Jackson Slater. I can't imagine they want a second rookie guard.
I would guess that is a practice squad thing, and maybe the Broncos wanted him back, and the Titans offered him more money or something like that. Who knows? But as of now,
he also could look at Kevin Zeitler and know he's short for the team.
That's true, and see the opportunity with the Broncos having one of the better interior offensive lines.
I'm thinking I can beat out Jackson Slater.
Yeah,
which I'd say might not be that easy because I think Jackson Slater can play.
Yeah, for sure. We've got 3 of the 4 waiver claims confirmed for the Titans. From Paul Kaharski reporting defensive backs Jalen Armour-Davis from the Ravens, Samuel Womack from the Colts. Both have been claimed by the Titans. Tom Pelissero reporting that the Titans have claimed linebacker Dorian Mossy off waivers from the Vikings. So there is one more spot that is still out there. Again, we're assuming it's an edge rusher. But who knows? I mean, maybe they feel better about Jalen Harrell than we do over there at St. Thomas Sports Park. But the Titans are filling in the depth, and we'll see if there's any surprises here as we wait for the last one. I would think based on the cuts or the claims we've seen so far, Gabe Judy-Lawley's gone, and the 2 offensive linemen, Curtis Jacobs and Jalen Harrell, I think are the 2 that are
we have to wait and see. And again, all of these guys are very likely to wind up on the practice squad.
Right, for sure. The reason
while we
they
say
kept
they're
them,
gone,
yes,
they're gone but not forgotten. Okay. Now another team could scoop them up. That's possible.
Right.
But the Titans were the worst team in football last year. And so not a lot of people should be shopping in your store. Okay. Because you were the worst team. And if you're the worst team, generally the back end of your roster is not good.
Yes.
All right. So I know during the summer we were talking about the waiver claims, and people kept asking me, why are the Titans looking at former Patriots and former this and former that? And I'm like, well, because those are the only teams releasing players right now.
Yes.
Because they're churning it over. And so that's what you saw in the summer. Now is the chance when Baltimore store is open. All right. The Rams store is open. And that's exciting. The Eagles store is open. All right. So you get to go in and look at their guys. And that's a big, big difference. The Titans store should not be exciting to anyone.
Well, and we usually judge teams' roster depth by how many, like you get 53 on your roster. How many of the guys you cut get claimed elsewhere? I would guess the Titans, maybe 1, if that. And before we get out of here, Mike Garafolo reporting the Patriots have claimed Tommy DeVito.
Wow. Yep. Have they claimed Josh Wiley?
I have not seen that yet, but Tommy Cutlets is going to the Patriots. We're getting a lot.
Who was their backup?
They cut some guy I never heard of.
Yeah.
Who was starting in their last one. Okay, here we go. Waiver claims in full before we get out of here. Tennessee claiming Jalen Armour-Davis, Darian Mossy, CJ Revenell, a defensive end out of Missouri Western from Baltimore. I'm probably butchering that name. CJ Ravenell is the 4th waiver claim that we did not get to there.
What position is he?
Defensive end.
Okay.
Out of Missouri Western. Let's see.
And he's from Baltimore.
He is from Baltimore.
We went to the Ravens store, which is a good store to shop in.
Yes. Undrafted guy. I don't believe he's played yet, but he's 25, so I think he's at least been in the leagues. 6'5", 300 pounds.
And he's an edge?
It says defensive end.
Okay.
So maybe more of a
lineman.
Yes.
He's more of a Jeffrey Simmons, Sebastian Joseph Day.
So they're your 4 waiver claims for the Titans.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Jalen Armour-Davis, Dorian Mossy, CJ Ravenell, Samuel Womack. And
so they had 2 guys on the defensive line. When you look at last night
with
adding
Shai Tuttle,
that's
and
interesting.
Miami claimed Juju Brents. New Orleans claimed Trey Palmer. Looking, no Titans were claimed. Chad Muma to the Colts.
Man.
No Titans were claimed off waivers. So everybody.
Vrabel didn't bite on any of those
Nope.
guys?
Josh Wiley made it through. The Patriots claimed Tommy DeVito and Charles Woods from the Rams.
Well, look, he didn't claim those guys, but I'll bet some of them wind up on the practice squad.
Yeah, that it's possible that they poached them, because I don't know if Wiley would come back.
At least one of them goes on the practice squad.
So there you go. Those are your waiver claims. Chase and Big Joe are going to have plenty of reaction coming up next. Corey, thanks for hopping on.
All right, I think I'll be back next Wednesday as well.
Love it.
All
Having
right.
Corey on as much as we possibly can, and make sure to tune in News 2 all weekend long for great college football.
10:30 pregame show, Vols Syracuse at 11.
Love it. For Parker Kelly and Corey Curtis, I'm signing off. I'm Jake Lyman. Chase and Big Joe coming up next here on 102.5 The Game.